Hi, and welcome to Fuzzy Guard, Esports Stories from the Bar. My name is SamDDing, and I've been in this industry for about 5 years. Now let's bring some other esports professionals to the pub.
Habits, right?
Of course. So basically the crack is I'm going to be drinking. Just as casual as fucking, like, as if we're sitting in a pub. If I was in...
Okay.
If we went to a Red Major and I just said, hey, let's go for a beer, whatever, so like, don't feel like, if you have anything to plug away. If you don't have anything to plug, don't feel pressured. There's no talking points or anything like that. We are here just to, my idea is basically to humanize
Nice.
figures within the esports sphere.
Nice. Actually, I tried doing something like this, but I'll be honest, like, esports people aren't really the most talkative ones.
Yeah.
That's why I think the added social, a little bit of the liquid courage is gonna help.
He's got it. Yeah, that's that's kind of the vibe there. That, like, when I used to, I've told this, like, story like maybe 3 times out of the 3 episodes that released, but anytime that I went to events, all I wanted to do was just have a chat with people. Like, I didn't care about, like, fucking, oh, so when did you start in this industry? Like, how did you get your foot in the door?
Oh my God, yeah.
So tell me about your story, man. How much do you love the community and shit? Like, I was just like, so how fucking, what's the worst flight you've ever been on? Like, they're just way better stories.
Mm-hmm. What's your go-to dance move? What are you listening to right now? How much rent do you make in a month?
Damn, man. Those are really good questions. Do you believe in aliens? Like, fuck yeah, man. What's your go-to dance move is like a fucking vibe, dude.
I didn't know we were on. We're on now?
Yeah. So
I gotta get professional now.
Not in the slightest. Save the professionalism for the desk, bro. Just, man. So I'm drinking Jameson again today. Classic, like, Irish and shit. You gotta love it. I bought a big liter bottle for one episode because I thought
nice.
I was going to get through a liter in 2 hours. Totally incorrect. And I've been trying to find interesting ways to drink it now because I just have loads of it. So I think the last episode I tried to just, like, drink it straight for the first couple of times, and, like,
did it work? No.
A little bit of water in it, but I suppose when you're listening intently, you don't measure stuff out very properly. So I remember just sipping on it. I felt it all go down my neck, and I was like, oh, this is maybe not good. Yeah.
I can't feel my face. This is not right. Oh my goodness. Okay.
So
it's interesting. I went to this bar one time, and I forgot the name of the bartender. He's such a nice guy because it was my brother's birthday. They gave us, like, birthday shots.
Nice.
And he had a signature drink, that it was whiskey, but you eat it with a side of Cheerios. It's cereal.
Yeah.
And it's like an Irish breakfast. I think that's what the drink was called.
That's good.
And my friend said it was delicious. Like, yeah, it's weird, but I don't know. Maybe you should drink whiskey with some cereals.
Are you saying like that you do a shot and then you eat a spoon of Cheerios, or is it all kind of in one?
No. So they gave us birthday shots, but my friend ordered a drink afterwards, and it's just it's a glass of whiskey. I don't know if he mixed it or anything with something else, with vanilla extract or whatever, but it comes with a bowl of cereals at the side. So that's interesting for pub mix or whatever. Not peanuts.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know though with milk and alcohol.
For champs. I don't know.
I mean, absolutely. You see, we do actually have something called an Irish breakfast, and don't let any of those English people tell you that it's an English breakfast, because there's mad contention about the difference between an English breakfast. They call it a full Irish or a full English, and it's just a load of pork products. In my experience, the difference between an English and I'm about to get blown up, right? But tomatoes.
Get ready to clip it. Go ahead. Clip it. Here we go. Tomatoes.
They do fried tomatoes on a full English, from what I've seen, and we don't do fried tomatoes. And I'm not saying that Irish people don't enjoy fried tomatoes, but on the traditional full Irish breakfast, it's sausages, rashers, and then pudding. Do you guys have pudding over there?
Not necessarily, but I know the kind of pudding you're talking about. Yeah. Interesting. So fried tomatoes is the only differentiator? Nothing else?
That's all I can see is the difference. That's our full Irish. Load of pork products and eggs and beans and stuff, you know.
Is that the best to eat after a night out, or
Yes.
is it just like
Absolutely, because you have all of the kind of fats and salts and the sugars in the beans and stuff. I'm getting hungry. I just had like breakfast.
I just had dinner.
Yeah.
And you're telling me all this, and I got to think about it the next day, I guess.
It's so funny. So you are the first transcontinental guest that we've had.
Wow.
Intercontinental, transcontinental. I don't know what the. You are the first guest that's not from the continent that I'm on. So time zones are a little bit messed up here. So ladies and gentlemen, you need to understand the sacrifice I'm making right now. I am drinking very early.
Little afternoon delight for Sam over here. So thank you so much for having me. Honestly, I'm very honored to be here as your first time outside of the continent guest. And yeah, thank you for having me on the show.
Problem at all, man. I think your story is quite interesting because we only met like through ICFC Asia, and just from there, like, I mean, obviously we don't really get much experience. Like, obviously everyone sees the Americans, that's just kind of where the standard lies and that. But like going over to Asia, it was a weird vibe because obviously you guys are like really like good at your craft and stuff, and you know, just to see the God, if I keep getting these notifications, man, why would Steam?
I was telling, yeah, keep going. It's all good, Sam. This is what we're here for. This is why we got to run the ads.
That's it. But yeah, it was so funny because I mean, obviously before ICFC Asia, I wouldn't have even looked at the sort of Asian tournament scene at all. Obviously a little bit of Green Arcade and Africa TV and that sort of stuff.
Right.
But you know, as far as the English-speaking casts, Rev Major and that sort of stuff, I mean, they were on my radar, but I never kind of got into it. So it's really, really cool to see. And then as soon as I followed you on Twitter, I just saw that you were doing so many other things, and I was like, right, so this guy isn't just a Tekken fanboy who got his hands on a good microphone, like, you know. You're working, man.
I mean, you've been in the esports scene. You know that, if you're, it's better to be a jack of all trades, in my opinion, just to be well faceted. Because if you're going to stick to one lane, it's like you kind of have to be a specialist in that, right?
Yeah.
And for me, one of the hardest things for me is mechanically, I'm not so gifted, but I'm very passionate about like video games, fighting games in particular. Tekken was my jam. I play other obscure fighting games. We can talk about that in a bit. And yeah, I don't know. I just when you said working, I've hosted a couple of events. I've tried commentating other titles too, which by no means are they conventional titles. When you think esports, we got the Valorants, we got the League of Legends, right? We got the Dotas. I recently commentated a Dead by Daylight mobile tournament.
Let's go.
Yeah, so that's, I mean, 1 versus 4 is kind of popping off. Identity 5 is my main bread and butter. Shout outs to the Identity 5 community. They're really great.
What's Identity 5? What is that?
Identity 5 is a mobile 1 versus 4 asymmetrical horror. So it's kind of in the same genre.
Right.
There's a big tournament coming up in Japan that it's like the worlds of Identity 5. And you got crazy representation from China, Japan, Korea, like all the main players are there. Southeast Asia, shout outs to them. You'd be surprised. It's kind of Tim Burton-esque, like art style. So a lot of people love the art style of it. I love the sheer back and forth because it's technically one hunter versus 4 survivors, and there's a certain meta you have to play.
Right.
So it's kind of it's pretty interesting. Like people wouldn't think like at first sight like how can this be an esport? Then when I sit them down and try to explain to them, it's like wow, that's pretty technical.
Absolutely. And I mean, how do you feel the mobile game sphere competes with the more kind of traditional PC or console and that sort of stuff?
Yeah, I'll be honest, like in Southeast Asia, it's very big.
Yeah.
Like, Mobile Legends is uncontested here as like the highest esports. Like if you're there, you're a rock star.
Really?
In the winning team. Yeah, it's mobile esports is kind of picking up in the Southeast Asia countries. I know in Brazil also, Wild Rift is pretty big there, and I know some of my friends are at Valorant, the VCT lock-ins. That's there now. India also, PUBG Mobile is popping off. So yeah, I feel like mobile I mean, everyone has a mobile phone, right?
That's it.
And this is one of the things, because I come from the Philippines, right? It's hard to get your hands on a PS4, or if not a PC, buy an arcade stick, get the game. With mobile games, you just need a mobile phone, and boom, you're ready. You're ready to go, and you can compete with the best of the best if you have a skill there. So, I understand that when it comes to like fighting games, there is that kind of barrier in it already, especially in the Philippines, when a lot of people don't have access to high-speed internet or very good PC. So that's why mobile games are really big.
Damn, and I never thought about the accessibility option of esports. But yeah, I mean, obviously, Jesus, I grew up in Europe where nothing was hard to come by. Like, everyone lost their mind when PS5s, you couldn't just buy them off the shelf,
Yeah.
But I remember watching a documentary on the Pakistan Tekken scene. And it was almost the same thing, that any of their kind of tech had to come from a different country, like that there was no direct importer into Pakistan. I assume it's the same in kind of the Philippines or that, if you're saying it's if it's hard to get a console or a fight stick and that sort of stuff,
Yeah, just more of like the general accessibility, because if you think about like the general population of things, everyone has a cell phone. Not everyone technically has a PC, if not just a PC, like a fight stick or the means to buy the game or the means to grind it. While mobile games pretty accessible, and also shout out to the Pakistan community, because they've been grinding and working, and they're one of the most passionate scenes that popped off. So I mean, you were front hand experience to see that in TWT. So it's like, oh my goodness, right?
Yeah, it genuinely is. I mean, I love that whole story. And I still remember it was Asim is a player, he's a UK based player. But he was born in Pakistan, I'm pretty sure, or grew up in Pakistan, and he was always talking about the Pakistan scene for years in the UK, right? And like, if somebody moves from a different country and they say, "Oh, dude, you should check out the scene in my hometown. It was way better." There's so like genuinely they'd beat the Koreans if they had the chance, and everyone was just like, "Yeah, all right, man. Yeah, cool, no problem. Yeah, I'll see you at the next tournament." Like,
never heard of him. That's the line you say. Never heard of him. What are you talking about?
Yeah, and it turns out he was actually telling the truth. Like,
he was prophesizing it, man. He was, he was just you just needed one, right? One to just open the door for everyone. And now Pakistan is just, marching everyone down and just putting everyone on notice. It's insane.
Yeah, I mean, best in the world now, like, number one in the world.
Exactly. Uncontested, undeniable, and
yeah, it's pretty crazy. But that's the world of Tekken right now, I suppose. Like, everyone getting ready for the new release and stuff. It should be fun.
Hey, by the recording of this episode, Kazuya trailer just dropped.
I know, right? Dude, I saw it this morning. Or last night? I can't remember. Dude, it's sick. I'm so excited.
Time's a weird concept for you.
Dude, right now, I feel like I'm at my evening time, but I've only been awake for a couple of hours. Like, so...
I apologize. I think it's the Jameson hitting. My bad.
Is. Yeah. It's always nighttime when you're drinking, James. So I'm trying something new with it now. So I've got Jameson soda and a lemon cordial.
How's that hitting you so far?
It's got a nice zestiness. It feels like a very summery drink. I thought it would look much worse because it's kind of a cloudy lemon. Like, I thought it was going to go like a brown or something, but no.
That's fine. As long as it doesn't look a little darker than that, I think that looks good. That's totally fine.
That's it, yeah. It's what's it? They have a Moscow Mule. This is a Dublin Donkey, like,
Wow. That's actually... It'll kick you right in the nuts.
That's it. So how's hosting been? Like, because I definitely dipped my toe into a little bit of hosting, and I don't know, for me, hosting is just, it's easier. Like, you get up and you just shout at people and make jokes with kids or something, like, do you have the same experience?
Yeah, it depends usually. I don't know. I guess you would agree it depends on the crowd, right? I've tried my hand in panel hosting with Wild Rift. I've tried also hosting, like in Rev Major. They're an amazing crowd. I've also tried hosting in... I tried hosting like this wedding event, which is a little wild too.
Damn.
Just like it's like a wedding expo, right? But I'm always so nervous to even try exploring like a wedding event, because it's like, dude, that's like your life moment, and if I mess up, it's on me. You're gonna remember me as the guy that messed up saying your aunt's name or not introducing you right or something. Like, that's too much pressure, man.
I never thought about that. I never thought about me immediately. I just went into, how do you get gigs like that? Like, I didn't think about the gravity of that situation at all.
Oh, dude, I'm pretty sure you'd make an amazing wedding host.
Damn, dude.
I think you just need one. You just need to get the right people and all that. Because I'm lucky enough to have friends that are in that industry, so some of them are asking, but I never said yes yet. I've hosted like anniversaries, but not necessarily weddings.
Right.
I was asked to, but I was very nervous to even say yes. Shout out to all the wedding hosts out there.
Damn, man.
Yeah, I would say it depends, but I would say the esports or video game market are a very welcoming. Well, it depends on the game, but they're a very welcoming community. You just have to be open to knowing the language, knowing what makes them pop off, right?
Mm-hmm.
I hosted a Just Dance launch 2023.
What?
It was pretty fun. Yeah, it was pretty fun, man.
Dude, that's sick. That's so cool.
It was. They're the coolest community. They're one of the coolest community out there.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah, Just Dance. I would say Just Dance is up there. I would say Identity 5 also is up there. Shout out to that one more shout out to the Identity 5 community. Did you know that when I was commentating the live event, they had light sticks for their favorite teams? You know that?
As in, you could get the different colors, like
the fans were passing out light sticks. That's how passionate they were about the teams, man. Like, it was like, oh my god, this is different. Like, I don't know. If I passed around, let's say, like a JDCR picture, they might think I'm like an obsessed fan. Yeah. But man, shout out to the Identity 5 community. They're so passionate about their teams and their players and all that. They cheer them on. So it was pretty fun. It's fun meeting them and also knowing their stories and how they got started.
Yeah, definitely. Speaking of that JDCR thing, so I was at Evo, and we had to do this PlayStation panel thing where you just sat down and kind of talked about, like, I think Street Fighter or Tekken or whatever the thing is, but they tried to diversify their guests, and so I got booked in for a slot, and I was just walking around the arena, you know, just chatting to, and this guy was like, "Oh, hey Sam, what's going on? I recognize you from European tournaments." And I'm like, "Hey, what's going on?" And he was like, "Listen, I've got a sticker of James Chen's face. Will you give it to him when you meet him?" And I was like, "Dude, I don't know James Chen. I've never met him. I've never talked to him. Like, sure, we have the same backstage. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I took it anyway, and I just put it in my pocket. Completely forgot about it, right? And
my god!
I'm getting like mic'd up for the PlayStation stage, right? And you know, they're putting it on, and you just have your liaison. And I said, "Oh, who else is going to be on the panel?" Your man goes,
lo and behold,
James Chen.
There we go.
And so I'm sitting there, and the camera is on. Mm-hmm. And this then, because it was something that I just put out on my mind, and then I just had this, like, my brain just went into white noise mode, and I was like, I've got a sticker of this man's face in my pocket, and all I could imagine was, if it fell out now, how do I explain this? Like, you know. So I couldn't take it out. I couldn't even tell him about it, just because my brain went into, I don't want to be the obsessed fan. Like, you know, I don't want to. Hey, I've got a sticker of your face. It was so, oh man.
That's wild. Did you after the panel? Did you end up giving it to him?
Or? Nope. I put it straight in the bin. I was like, because I'm probably gonna meet him again. I'm taking it out and I'm putting it in the bin. Like, you know.
You would have loved it. I don't know. Or even for namesake, I would have loved to see it. I'll be honest.
I mean, probably it would have, but like, I swear to God, I had that like fight or flight sort of thing just as I remembered. I was like, God, it's really cool that I'm here with James fucking Chen, like, you know.
Man, dude. James Chen, the legend.
Woo.
I've never met James Chen, but I'm not going to speak on his behalf, but I think he'd appreciate it. That's like, wow, okay, thank you. But probably like, okay, I'm going to keep my distance from you. Thank you.
Yeah.
What's interesting is that I talked to JDCR, and man, you've never been to Rev Major, right?
No.
But if you come to Rev Major, it hits different, man.
Yeah.
Like, the fans there are like so next level. And I'm not trying to blow smoke up the Rev Majors, you know, like just make it much better, but even JDCR is like, man, it just hits different. Like these fans are like, whoa, so it's something else. It's so ravenous. It's so electric. So I'm hoping that we can have you on, or I mean have more events that'll invite international talents, because international talents and Rev Majors are superstars.
So I was chatting
they
to
get swarmed.
Yeah, I was chatting to AK about it, and he said exactly the same thing in Amsterdam. And so I was just saying, I'll ask around and I'll see what the crack is with the Philippines or whatever. Everybody has exactly the same story that you're saying. They're like, the fans are like they are fans of this game. Like they love this and stuff. Isn't it Nee said that... Oh, what was the thing of it? He was like, he couldn't walk into the venue because a queue just formed or something.
Behind him, I think this was in 2019. Oh my God. Someone DQ'd Nee because he couldn't make it to his pool because he was being held up to sign autographs.
Damn.
But Nee, being the nice guy, he was like, no, it's okay. Like, I want to meet the fans. And he had enough points. So 2019, that was fine, right? Safe. And we were like, wow, safe there. But dang, like, he was just walking to the bathroom, and then like people queued up just to meet Nee, sign stuff. Even in the other communities, like Goichi, like had a lot of people lining up for him. Just a lot. Like the Philippines love fighting games. It's undeniable.
Definitely, man. Yeah, I mean, usually at this point to the podcast, I ask, how's your life in esports? But I feel like I should just say, how's your life in hosting? How's your life in just being you on stage and stuff, man?
It's good. It's a wild ride so far. I'm just taking every opportunity as it comes, and I don't know, just trying my best to still balance everything out, because I want to do a lot of things, right? I definitely have some bucket list stuff I want to check off, but you still gotta, sustain other things. Like you want to okay, so I don't know if you feel the same way, but when I meet my friends outside of like games and esports, it's like I have to tell them about this incredible world, and they're like, what are you talking, what fighting games? There's a $2 million prize pool now? Like, what? It's like, it's so foreign to them. It's like I have a secret that I want to tell people, but I can't really tell it unless you experience it. So just trying to balance those two things out, having a social life also with my other friends and exploring other avenues while still trying to maintain hosting. And I don't know, like, I guess being eyed for events too, if that makes sense.
Sure.
You have to. That's why you have this podcast. That's why we have these avenues. You want to make noise and like, hey, let's get this guy, right?
Of course.
It's the grind.
Yeah, but staying in people's like, zeitgeist is a hugely important thing about it. Like, it's all good to have all of the technical abilities that you need to do the job at a kind of a higher professional level, but I think that, like, I mean, I'm sure like the people who pick the commentators or the host for events are usually one or two guys, and if you're mates with that guy, or if he likes you, or even if he knows you, it sets you apart from the 200 showreels that he's just after getting into his inbox,
Yeah, exactly. And something that I always decided for myself when I started this journey was I'm going to be part of games, or talk about games or communities that I'm very passionate about. That's why a lot of people are saying, hey, you should try out for this title or this one. This one's really popping off. But if it doesn't really resonate with me, I don't want to do it just for the sake of doing it, or just being there because, oh, this is good for your resume, or I mean, I'm so grateful for the opportunity, but I can tell from myself if I'm not gonna have that same energy. And I feel like that's knowing myself enough. That's what I bring to the commentary, that energy and that enthusiasm. And if you ask me to do something I don't want to do, it's gonna translate, and I don't think I'd rather not. And I'd tell the person in charge, like, hey, I'll be honest with you, this isn't like my forte. I can try my best, but I know a bunch of other dudes that are super passionate about this. If you want them instead, but if you really want me, I'll tell you now that I'm gonna study my butt off. I'm gonna do this. Because the job's still a job, right? That's it. But I'd rather have one of my friends that grinded how many hours in this game, hosted so many tournaments, and take this position, rather than me that's that's just casually a fan of the game that would rather watch my friend up there than me.
Yeah, I mean, I really appreciate that you're bringing this sort of natural excitement. Like you know, your hype is actual hype rather than kind of you're just going through the motions of generating hype and that sort of stuff. It's definitely it definitely stands to you, and probably why you're getting so many gigs that.
Oh, thank you, man. I appreciate that. I try my best. If I just try to, you know, I try to bring what I learned from professional wrestling, because I ring announce for professional wrestling.
What?
Oh yeah. In our local promotion. Shout outs to FPW, by the way, Philippine Pro Wrestling.
What?
So yeah, there's a mentality that they have is like a good character you have is you turned up to 11. So because you're still speaking your truth, but just turn up to 11. Then just be that on the mic.
That's incredible. That piece of like wisdom right there, that is exactly what every new commentator needs to see. Don't be a 6 out of 10 Tasty Steve.
Yeah.
Be an 11 out of 10 you. That's so good, man.
Yeah. I took a lot of inspiration talking to my buddies in the wrestlers in the locker room and asking them about character, ask them what they want to hear. And yeah, they work on the characters, because I don't know if you're a fan of pro wrestling and all that, but it's more character work and athleticism and all that. But I love the storytelling, and that's what I try to bring to the table. And another thing I want to share with you, another mentality I try to bring to the table is that wrestlers would want to be whoever you put me up with. I'm going to work my ass off to be the best show of the night. So if you pair me up with a corgi or whatever, we're gonna have the best show of the night. It's fine. You know what? Whoever you're with, that's what commentators should strive for. Instead of like, oh, I only work if this guy does color commentary and I'll do play-by-play, or like I'm only good with this type of. No, like you gotta, whoever you're paired up with, it needs to be the show of the night. 5 out of 5 stars.
Yeah. Oh, so it sounds like you've dabbled in Rocket League commentary. If you're coming with that, yeah, they literally have specific roles.
Play-by-play color. Exactly.
And you don't like there are people that do both, but I've seen spreadsheets and list of commentators' names, and like it's like play-by-play color, play-by-play color. Yeah.
Yeah. But sometimes like the organizer doesn't know that, and they'll be like, let's put you two up here, and they're both play-by-play. It's like, ooh, one's gonna have to adjust. And no, from my mentors, what I learned them before, it's usually you would want to be the one to adjust, or like you want to have a well-rounded type of hosting or commentary. So whenever like any events organizer that gets you, you know how to. All right, I'll be this person. It's cool. You can adjust.
Yeah,
I'll be the one to adjust. So yeah.
Absolutely. No, totally. I mean, Jesus, man, you have your fingers in so many pies. This is crazy. So wait, actually, can we just go back? How does one land a wedding hosting show? Like what does the DM look like? Like your first thing, like, you know, like, hey, I saw you doing wrestling or video games or ICFC or
So this was so I started out my mic journey actually started out in college. I did like a junior jock program. It was a rookie radio program for 99.5 Play FM.
Right.
And then from there, I met a couple people. Then hosting, you know, it's kind of like a stepping stone for other things. And one of my friends that I knew from there, she was like, "Hey, I am part of this event, and they're looking for voiceovers for this wedding debut exhibit or whatever. So there's a lot of vendors. Like, would you want to get your foot in here?" Okay, cool. So I went there, and then I was just situated in a booth. And then they just gave me voiceovers. Hey, the aisle blah 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 is having a sale on this, or you know, just the promos.
Yeah.
And you know what? A lot of people hear that voice, and if they say bring your car, she told me to bring whatever, like a contact thing, because people will go up to you like, hey, you have a good voice. Can we get you to do voiceover events? Blah blah blah. So it starts out with that.
Right.
And you just have to be ready for it, really.
Of course. I mean, as you said, a gig is a gig. Like, I mean, that does sound incredible. Like, you know, like, I mean, is it like a totally different field? Because I imagine for that sort of stuff, it's almost like a different voice that you use for that you do for a commentary or hosting.
Yeah, I can't be that exciting, right?
Sure, yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, I can't be so excited.
Oh no! Wait a minute!
On aisle 5, you gotta get a 5% discount on your cake. I just try to be a little more professional. So the thing is, they've been leveling it up each year. So now for the whole weekend, sometimes they have we have raffles. We interview the winner of a raffle, and they give giveaways. So my commentary comes out a little bit there. Like, ladies and gentlemen, there's like 5 minutes left. Count it down with me till the booth closes, and you got to blah 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 blah. So it's pretty wild, and yeah, they're a different type of passionate there, especially since you know that they want to get the best deals, so you want to be as helpful as possible. And in that event also, I learned how to be always on my feet, because sometimes I would have to move to a different stage to like do a raffle draw. I have to be able to help out people in the organizer's booth, point people to the right direction because they're looking for something, because I have staff on, right? And I had to bring a coat sometimes because I had to go up there and do the raffle or something. I always encourage people that want to get into esports or want to get into like commentary is bring different disciplines, because it's gonna help. Like I always bring a pen now to event. I always make sure like, hey, like I ask like, okay, am I just gonna be a voice here? Is there gonna be camera? Is there gonna be this? Gonna be that? So
yeah, absolutely. I think there's a lot of really cool stuff. There's a bro called Punlife. He does the European ICFC. Awesome commentator. But he hit me with this that he knows people that do like Overwatch commentary and you know the kind of esports commentary and stuff. And he just said like, I don't want to be the best Tekken commentator. I just want to be the best commentator. So like it's awesome to look at Aris, Rip, Tasty Steve and these as the sort of pinnacle, but he always brings a notepad. He was the first guy that I ever saw doing it when I was like starting out. He would bring like a refill pad and he would just jot down, and like I'm seeing him taking notes and it's just like block more or something, and I was like, what the hell is he talking about? Like, and then in the break between games I'm just like, yeah, no, I thought that was really interesting how there was a little bit of aggression there, and he just went, yeah, I mean it sounds like a simple premise, but he needs to block more because of this, and I'm like,
it makes sense.
Yeah, but he wants to be the best commentator. Also, shout out to Punlife. Punlife has this thing called Punduction, and it's just it grabs stats between players on any of the sites, Smash, GG, and I keep saying challenge, but challenge isn't a thing anymore, is it? Yeah, that's a but those programs, and like has like stat breakdowns of which character they pick, what's the percentage chance of them picking this character. Awesome. It's insane.
I feel like fighting games or like Tekken, since we're commentators for that, would really be great with like, I mean, can you imagine us talking about stats in a broadcast? That'd be so cool. Like at least it'll bring that storyline. So Punlife, shout outs to you, man.
Yeah,
the game,
my man. I'm telling you, yeah, he's got some fingers in pies as well. But so when I started commentating, I used to watch WWE. I didn't like. I mean, so obviously I wasn't into watching majors or whatever, so I literally just Googled Tekken tournament or YouTube Tekken tournament or whatever, and like, yeah, you get your Evos and that sort of stuff, but like I was like, all right, a little bit close to home, I'd look at the kind of the English scene or whatever, and I'd usually get local shows, so I was like, I'm not about to be that type of commentator, like, you know. So I just went to WWE, and just what you're talking about, story, like there was a thing, and I still remember it. It was a stare down in the middle of the ring. And if you look at that without audio, it's two greased up men staring passionately into each other's eyes, right? But the commentator went, this is incredible, this is incredible, this is incredible. And I was like, it is incredible. I have no idea why, but this right here is incredible. And like immediately as a commentator looking at it, I fell into the sort of spectator like role there immediately. So is there a higher standard that's required for a wrestling commentator than there is for an esports?
Okay, so I've dabbled. Yeah, I've done wrestling commentary. I would say when it comes to wrestling commentary, it's more of storytelling. It's more of descriptive, because you could say, oh, look at the impact on that, planting him straight on the ground. There's a lot of you can get away with a lot of descriptors, not like in Tekken. Wow, did you see the velocity of that down forward too? You can't do that, right?
Sure.
That's gonna sound weird.
Sure.
So you can talk about the timing, the precision, but I would say, because again, my forte is play-by-play. It's more of that, but I try to bring that. And For me, the higher, or as much as I love wrestling, I actually look at UFC, and John Anik is my GOAT, my gold standard when it comes to commentary. And one of his best lines was, like when they do the walkouts, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Habib was about to face Dustin Poirier for the title shot, and his opening line, I believe, I hope I get the number right. He goes, 27 have tried and 27 have fallen. Will Dustin Poirier be the one in 27 and 1 to face the Eagle, Khabib Nurmagomedov, as he walks to the octagon? I'm like, wow, I'm getting like goosebumps thinking about it, because he knows that Khabib is like this wrecking ball, and Dustin is going to challenge him for his undefeated record. And he's just so smooth, and he's so good at making other commentators look good. He's so good at directing traffic, reading ads. I want to drink Modelo now because of him, because he's so good at just saying the sponsor spiel, and I want to do that. That's why every time in ICFC, I always try my best to not do the same song and dance whenever a match, like the come out for the t-shirts, the codes, all that, right? So I just try my best to be as good at segueing, like shout to Sajam with the segue.
Yeah,
he's really good at it too, right?
He is.
If we're gonna go for esports standards, I would put Sajam up there. He's really good at just segueing and connecting the dots.
Yeah.
So for me, yes, wrestling is good to kind of get you your descriptors, your storytelling, but I personally look at John Anik as my GOAT when it comes to commentating and just kind of holding a broadcast.
Yeah.
And he doesn't stutter at all. He's just so good.
Yeah, it's weird the sort of niche skills that you have to pick up to use your voice to make money, like, that sort of thing of not stuttering, like that. If you're talking with a bunch of commentators, that's not a skill that's like, do you know, like if we're all sitting around with all of the Asian ICFC team, nobody talks about how somebody didn't stutter. Yet to regular people that don't do this, they're like, he doesn't stutter at all, and you're like, that's how he does it, like,
Exactly. Or he stops talking when you talk, like that's so hard in a friend circle. They just interrupt you. I know Sajam also talked about this. One of the skills he's learned now is someone talks, he shuts up.
Yeah,
because that's like a habit that you have, and I feel very uncomfortable now with dead air.
Oh,
being like a friend group, you're like, it's talking. Oh no, are we gonna cut to break? Oh right, I'm out in the pub. What are we doing here? Someone play a song.
That's so true. Oh my god, commentators in real life, dude. My girlfriend is the worst for it. She'll just talk.
What do you mean?
She just talks, like, and
oh no,
I'll be saying something and she'll have an idea about what I said, but I'm in the thing and I'm about to, everything is good and we're doing all this sort of stuff, and just as I decide that I'm about to bring it down to pass it over, she'll just be like, no, but there's another thing there, and I'm like,
we were about to close the show. We're about to give our shout outs. What's up?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I get it. Honestly, I feel like that also I developed that knee-jerk reflex when I was in radio, because it's your heart drops when the song ends and there's no song that follows up. There was one time I played a song. I played, like, on iTunes, like, you have like your songs. I was playing an XX album, right? And then I was taking a nap, and then the album ended, and I woke up in sheer panic. I'm like, oh no! I'm like, all right, I have to sleep. I'm done. There's a curse I live with now.
Man, yeah, those radio DJs have it rough, man. And I mean, shout outs to any radio DJs that are listening, man. But like, that media is dying real quick, and they still have to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning to do a breakfast show at 6. Right. Like,
Jeez. I would be honest with you. In the Philippines, AM radio is still kind of killing it, but yeah, with Spotify, with just internet radio as well. Right?
Sure.
You could just the medium has definitely changed. So yeah, shout outs to the people, like, because I know dedicated people to that craft that they wake up at 4 a.m. just to make a 5 a.m. show, and they still have to be as energized as possible. Oh geez, I've seen radio DJs like work a show when they're not their 100%, like they had a big fight with their significant other, or they're running late, or they have to go, like, it's really crazy, and you have to do that 6 days a week.
Yeah.
Holy smokes, dude. That's different. That's a different grind.
Yeah, dude. How do you have a ritual, like, to separate your real life to to your on screen life or whatever?
That's a good question. I usually so here's one thing, because of the circumstances of the world, we had to be all online, right? So every time on a broadcast, even though I don't need to, I always have to take a shower. And then when I take a shower, I have to play a song. I'm be listening. I gotta listen to some song just so I can get into the zone, right?
Fair.
After that, just do a little bit of ritual. Yeah, I try to listen to some specific songs just to get me in the mood. Then all right, cool. I'm ready to be on camera. I'm ready to talk on the mic. I'm ready to entertain people, I guess.
Wow.
I don't know how people. I mean, I've tried streaming too. I don't know how people do it, man. It's insane.
Yeah, I streamed for about a year and it just felt like a job. And because I was coming home from my job, I was a breakfast waiter in a hotel. And so I'd get home at like 2 or 3 p.m. in the day, and I would start streaming at 5. And I remember just sitting at my PC like with OBS open, and I'm like, I have to go live in 15 minutes. This sucks. And then at that point I was like, yeah, that's not where I want to be in my life, you know, like. Yeah,
so you gotta admit, like, the best to do streaming is them making it look fun, right? And you don't know their whole story, right? They're only projecting what you want them to, what they want the audience to feel, which is, all right, this is lighthearted, this is fun. But man, like, shout outs to the streamers out there. You guys putting in the work.
The 5-day-a-week streamers, man. That's a Monday to Friday, like, you know. That's like a job right there, man. Like,
yeah,
you know?
exactly. And the thing is, now it's for you to grow. It's like you have to stick to a specific game. And I know you, Sam, like you play different games too. Like you got Rocket League, you got other stuff going on. But like if you've been playing Tekken for so long, it's like, hey, let's switch things up. Let me just play a single player game or whatever. Let me just chill. But the algorithm, man, they punish you for changing stuff. Yeah.
Absolutely. I remember when I used to stream, I used to do horror Mondays where
my god,
every Monday I would just do a horror game, and it didn't matter. I literally just used it because I had do you know the way your Steam library, I was on Humble Bundle for a while, so my Steam library was just filling up with games that I had never even installed, like, you know. And I just noticed that there was, like, you know, 5 or 6 semi-decent horror games, you know. And so I was like, all right, do you know what, I don't like playing them like by myself. I get real like clawed up and stuff, like, so I just said, all right, I'll stream it. I'll make every Monday is now horror Mondays. That's what I'm doing, right? And I remember that I was streaming Alien, one of the
that is a scary game. The one that's the xenomorph is following.
Yeah.
And then he learns the patterns that you do. He knows if you hide.
I'll tell you a story about that AI in a minute. But I was streaming that or whatever, and I had done like the whole campaign playthrough or whatever, and I was maybe 5 weeks into Horror Monday, right? And somebody came into the chat and was like, yo, what the hell is this? Where's Tekken? And my Horror Monday crowd were like, what's Tekken?
What?
And I was like, what? You don't know me from that? This is what you're tuning in for? But yeah, I know exactly what you're saying about the sort of the punishing thing, because I did really try break it up, that I wasn't just playing Tekken Ranked for 3 hours a day and keeping it positive.
See, yeah, that's the thing, right? It's like, and this, I've been wrestling with this thought a lot. The algorithm refuses for you to be a whole person. It's like you have to be this person, or else we're not gonna put you in people's For You pages.
Yeah.
If you try, I talked to my friends that were working in data and analytics and all that. That's why I love the medium of podcasts, because the conversations can go anywhere, right? Mm-hmm. But if you want to rank, if you want to be in people's like suggested, you have to be easy enough for the algorithm to understand what you're doing. And it breaks my heart when people like had that fight in your chat. You're like, Tekken, what's Tekken? This is Horror Mondays, and it's like, but that's Sam in general. He enjoys Tekken, he joins horror. Like, let's have the holistic Sam here.
Dude, my favorite game. Do you know in that Steam recap? They copied the Spotify roundup thing for the year. Yeah. So I got my Steam one, and it turned out that my favorite game of 2021. What year are we in now? 23. Yeah, so it was 22. My favorite game of 22 was Risk of Rain 2. I had more hours in Risk of Rain than I had in Tekken, just because, and a roguelike is the best experience for a working gamer because you can just go in, do one run. There's no weird progression that you have to remember where you were the last time.
What's the story? Oh no.
Exactly. You can just go in, you can do an hour, you can do an hour and a half or whatever of just playing. You do almost a complete cycle of the video game narrative, almost like that. You start with nothing, you build yourself up, and then you die.
Build it.
And that's done. And whether you finish the game or you don't finish the game, you can just... So I got into the habit of just... If I had like a free hour, I didn't want to grind ranked in Tekken, so I would just Risk of Rain 2. That is my jam right now, man.
There we go. And my buddy's been making me want to... I should really get it when it's on sale. I'll let you know. But yeah, the working gamer, it's so hard to even ask people to commit to time these days, right? Like, hey, watch this or grind for 3 hours, and it's not even a guarantee if you'll make it up a rank or not. At least you know what you're getting into with like those roguelike games. Or let's even say like BR games. I feel like that's why Apex is popping off. Even like I was talking to Tishumon, dude, in Japan they love Apex, and I have friends that love Apex too. Yeah, because it's a BR game. You know, the characters are really cool. If you die, it's not like you're playing rank. You could kill a couple of hours playing Apex without really noticing the time. So I think developers know, like, all right, this is our market. Let's make these games as fun and as not as consequential as possible for people that want to just relax after a day's work. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like when Elden Ring came out, that I was excited for Elden Ring, right?
Okay.
But then I heard that the campaign takes roughly 200 hours to complete, right?
Oh my god.
Like, I'm like, if I work... And I mean, realistically, in esports, 40-hour weeks don't really exist. You're 50 or 60 or 70 hours a week on DMing people. There's so much associated work that goes into work. You know, I technically work for like 6 hours a month. Like what people see, like on camera or whatever, it's probably more, but you know, like there is so much DMing and, you know,
admin work.
It's crazy, like, you know, that if I have to put 200 hours into something, that stuff better help me with my career. Like, you know, I am not about to jump into something. And it's awful because everybody who played Elden Ring said it is one of the best games. The same, I still haven't played Last of Us. Like,
oh my god, you haven't played Last of Us yet? Okay.
Like, as somebody in this field.
Yeah, it's tough, right? And yeah, I would rather like spend my time like understanding a new character in Tekken, and I just disappeared. I hope I'm still talking. Oh, did I?
You are still talking.
Yeah.
We've lost your camera.
Oh no, The Last of Us is taking me. Anyway.
Easy.
Okay, I guess
Easy.
I gotta refresh.
No problem.
So, as I was saying, yeah, I realize what you're saying. Like when it comes to video games, it's like if I can't advance my career or make me better at my craft, it's like, I don't know, I feel like I'm cheating myself because I'm supposed to be better at Identity 5 or Tekken or any other potential game that I might end up hosting.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So unless, you want to be one of those variety streamers that does it, but it's a tough sell, right? 200 hours compared to, let's say, a 5-hour grind in Tekken that's going to make your knowledge of a certain character even better that you can bring on broadcast.
Yeah.
Or in, let's say, an Identity 5, learning a new map route or something. So, yeah, I think we're in this line of work that our time is one of the things that's so valuable to us that we can't just trade it so sparingly. Because people with a 9-to-5, it's like that's their reward.
Yes.
For us, our reward is being on the mic, getting the job, just so it's different strokes.
Yeah, it's the unconventional career paths, like, you know, that it seems to...
Okay, let me... Sorry, sorry, I just had to bring this up. How do you tell your folks what you do for a living, or like what you do in esports? Because that's something that I've never perfected.
Dude, have you... so that's now my like through line that I've asked every guest that I've had on the podcast so far.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
And
I beat you to it. I'm so sorry.
That's it. No,
clip of you.
I think that's great. I think it's kind of self-fulfilling now that people are asking me. The easiest way of doing it for me, for people that don't understand, you see, because my parents are they're weird. They know verbatim what I do, but they don't actually know what I do. So like they'll say like, oh, he's part of the TWT commentary team. And then when you ask them what TWT stands for, they have no idea. You know. But my mom says I'm a jet setter. She said, "Oh, sure, he's in a different country all the time. Oh, sure, he's in a different all the time now."
Rock star.
Yeah.
Rock star. Goodness.
How I use it and what I've heard from, although. Now that I think about it, a lot of people I ask are British about this, so maybe this is a uniquely British and Irish thing, but I'd say it's just like football. So when you watch football, the two people talking on it, that's what I do, just for a video game. Yeah. What about you? I mean, because you do so many things. Do you go to like a script? If you're out in a pub and someone says, "Oh, so I'm an investment broker," what do you do, Poch?
Yeah, it's hard because I've got this question before. Then I told them like the whole song and dance of like, yeah, you know, I commentate for this and that, and like, oh, so you go online? Do you have a YouTube? And I'm like, I don't have YouTube. Like it's gonna be so pathetic if they see my YouTube that has like not so much. But I just say host is actually a word that people sort of understand. Hosts and like a voice talent for esports. That's what I say. Like, oh, so you know, like people behind the voice, like in football and basketball, like I'm the one that, you know, it hypes up the game, so I just do that. Oh, cool. What about like Candy Crush or something like that? Then they start saying obscure games, and I'm like, no, dude, I'm specifically esports, Tekken, you know. Then that's when they're like, wow. Then I'm just hoping, please change the subject.
Yeah,
because. Unless they're genuinely interested, because if they're because I've been in conversations before, they're trying to, what is this, video games?
My favorite question in that, when you have that conversation, because it's always a weird one, you get two reactions. People say, "That's awesome, tell me more about that," or you get the, "Wow, okay." And the question that I fucking love it when people go, "And do you make money from that?" Oh, do you get that one too? Do you like... No.
I luckily enough, the people that I ask aren't as frank as that. But goodness gracious, how do you respond to that?
I mean, the easiest way of doing it is, yeah, my rent is paid, so you know, like I don't have to worry like about that. And then it's always the stupid follow-up questions. Really? Like how much? It's
like they don't believe you.
How much do you make?
Imagine.
How much do you make?
Oh no!
Like, and
what's this, a TikTok interview? What's going on?
Stop, dude. Stop.
You want to know what I'm listening to?
Yeah.
how much I pay for rent?
Yeah. I think there's Sorry, go on. We could have. I took a break for the drink, and you filled that up with your commentary. Like,
exactly. I was like, I was gonna just follow up. Like, we're in this weird path, I would say, that hasn't been set out yet. Because if you think about conventional careers, investment banking, you know, the ones that, doctor, okay, I get that. But now it's like us. The easiest way to put it even is just say you're a freelancer, and then if they follow it up, that means, I gotta say something else. Because I feel like, since, like you said, we have our hands in different pies, it's gonna take a whole podcast, and I hope this podcast helps people to get to know what I do and what you do more, even better.
Of course. And I mean, it's funny. I literally, it was only my girlfriend. I just said to her, like, downstairs, she's working from home today, and I just said, all right, I gotta go to work. And she goes, if you're drinking, it's not work. And I was like, what?
This is work. What are you making content?
This is content creation. Ooh woo. Flash some brands.
That brings us to today's Jameson whiskey.
Dude, there is. So I'm not going to mention any names because I don't want to upset any other alcohol brands that might be watching. Okay. But there is a comedian from the city I live in, and he has a podcast, and it's hilarious. But he is sponsored by a small Irish whiskey distillery. And
wow.
I really want an in with them right now. Like, I really want an in. They do like they've got a couple of different strengths and kind of what they age the stuff in and that sort of stuff.
Dude. let's go manifest that, man. Let's go. Let's
telling
bring
you,
it
man.
up. Let's make that happen. Who knows? We're gonna reach that number. You're gonna send that proposal, and you're gonna get that sponsorship. All right.
Yeah.
For now, this podcast brought to you by Dr. Pepper.
Yeah. Damn, man.
No, like
so
listen, what? Anyway.
I got a DM, the strangest thing, right? So obviously this podcast for me is just so I can get to chat to people who I wouldn't normally get to sit down and have a conversation with, right? But
right.
I have a couple of friends in Scotland, and the Scots are known as great drinkers, but there's a drinking game about this podcast, right?
No.
And
okay,
what this guy told me was the rules are you drink every time that I drink. And apparently it kills. People get like hammered and stuff. So for anybody watching, please drink responsibly. Like I've been a bartender for too long. Like I've cleaned up your mess for too many years. Like, you know, please drink responsibly. All you boys in Scotland, shout out to our Celtic brethren, man. Like, you know,
shout outs. My goodness, that's a really interesting drinking game. I'm trying to go shot for you with Dr. Pepper. I might pee in a bit because that's a lot. Yeah, but I didn't know that. You know what? So me and my friends have this, well, not really a drinking game, but we try to notice things. And I don't know if you do this also in your commentary. You have certain lines that you say.
Crutch words. I call them crutch words. Yep, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Right?
Yeah.
Because we're talking for 2 hours straight with no break, and it's like I might have to use the same line over again. I'm so sorry. I'll just like space them out, but I will say the same phrase if I have to.
Yep. It was definitely my because I'm from Ireland and everything in Ireland is very Catholic. There was one broadcast, and I remember it was a production manager that I worked with years ago, like at the very start, and I was like, just give me some feedback, let me know what I can change to be better for the next show. And he was like, the religious stuff that you say is you know, maybe cut down on that. And I was like, religious stuff? What? And he was like,
what was he trying to say?
You said Jesus Christ like 15 times in that last broadcast, and I watched it back and everything. That was how I expressed emotion. Jesus Christ! Oh, Jesus Christ! Like, you know, it was just
with different tonality.
Yeah,
that's totally fine.
But so I had to try and cut it out, man. I was just like, stop using the Lord's name in vain or whatever, as my grandmother would say.
My crutch word is, well, in Identity 5 someone pointed out, it was utilize.
Utilize.
I was utilizing this, that, yeah, just for him to be utilized the skill, utilize the plan. Yeah, so I was like, crud, I gotta change that about myself. And I try my best to, I used to say, this is what I tried in one broadcast that we had. I tried saying the word salvo. Oh, great opening salvo. Like I try incorporating that, right?
Yeah.
And then when I hear my co-casters say it, that's when I know I gotta drop it, because I know I'm saying it so much that they say it as well. So it's like, ooh, I gotta stop saying that. So I remove that word. I say it from time to time, but like.
Salvo is great. That's a great word.
Yeah, you should try using it. Yeah, it's and I feel like if somebody, I just try my best to not be. So we have a running gag with our co-casters. It's like, if we can do an impression of you, that means you're doing something repetitive, right? So I try my best to, okay, don't do a impression of me. And I always, one of the impression they gave me was, you always start off the broadcast with ladies and gentlemen. I'm like, that's a stable thing. But yeah. So,
yeah.
always start out with then. Folks, or
that's it. But then like the old school of commentators, like the guys who came in the kind of last generation to us, all worked really hard to get a catchphrase so that they could kind of market some stuff, like, you know. So it was almost the opposite of what we're doing to try not be repetitive. These guys would literally like hammer this thing into you, like, you know,
to the ground. Yeah, I don't know, I guess for me it's more of, I don't want to be, you can pop off that way. I just want to be able to, like you said, just work with whoever, and I don't want to just be like, oh, he's the and it's just like that guy, or he's like the phrase guy. So I definitely want to try my best not to be that person. But if somebody wants to do that, especially if like they're known in that specific community, that's great. For me, it's like, and you too, right? It's just we're in different games, so you want to be as flexible as possible.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I think that it's much easier to get known as it's much easier to get known as kind of the guy who does that
the
thing
phrase guy.
than
Yeah.
that guy's a really good commentator. We should probably get him in, like, you know.
Yeah. What was there a phrase you thought that would pop off but it didn't? Like you tried?
You see, the internet's so weird, man. Like they pick up like weird stuff. Like I remember there was, what was it? What's going to happen was the one that like I was like I it was something on Twitter, and I was just like, oh, like catchphrases or whatever, and somebody said, oh, Sam using his signature catchphrase, what's going to happen? And I was like, do I say that a lot? And like all of the comments were like, dude, that is your thing, like that, you actually made that. And I was like,
you're the what? You
what's
made it?
going to happen? Really? I don't like. I mean, we're looking at it in hindsight. It's probably like something I say a lot. But actually, speaking of like stuff that I say, we were here one day on this PC, and my bed is just over there, and sometimes I just throw stuff on the PC just to kind of chill out, to kind of like numb my brain or whatever, right? And I put on Rev Major, right? And I was just watching. It was like the top 8 or whatever, awesome games and stuff, like, but I'm just kind of drifting off, right?
Okay, oh my goodness. Did I wake you up? I'm so sorry.
My girlfriend woke me up with like an elbow. She was like, hey, baby. I was like, what? Yeah. She was like, he talked about you. The guy on the Rev Major talked about you. And I was like, what are you talking about? Top 8. Like, she was like, she got up, she came over here. She was like rewinding it back. And it was you saying, as SamDDing says, Tekken is a momentum-based game.
Boom!
But she like heard my name, like my in-game name. Like obviously she doesn't call me SamDDing, but she heard that as she was like scrolling Instagram, heard my name, said, that's it, Sam.
The guy in the talking box is talking about you. Yeah, man, I've always wanted to create those moments, and you went viral with that moment. That was
crazy. Yeah, me and Spag.
Yeah. And the timing of that moment was just insane. So obviously, I got to give my props. Like, I don't want to steal anyone's catchphrase. I try to all my best to like credit where credit is due. So,
yeah. No, man, it was such a weird thing that like that. I mean, what we do is surreal, right? Like, I mean, you know, like to tell people what my job is now a complex question and stuff, like, but like to be watching a Japanese game, like video game tournament that's on in the Philippines, and have my fake name called out on the broadcast when there's like 20 or 30,000 viewers, like that is a concept that my little brain doesn't like. Do you know, I'm from an island where our population is 5 million people. Like, it seems like this shouldn't happen, like, but yet it does. And I'm sitting here, I'm talking to you from the Philippines, and we have such a common interest and common ground that we share stories that we can both relate to. It's surreal, man. I don't know. I'm gonna get all choked up here now. But
oh my God, dude. I need a tissue. No, I feel you, man. It's really just making those connections, and I mean, just that one line, that threw-off line that I just said in passing that made me think of you. It resonated so much that in a different time zone that it made your girlfriend stop what she was doing to wake you up, and it made people know you. I don't know. It's incredible. I really feel like whenever we're on the mic, it's a privilege, and it's an opportunity for you to create moments.
Sure.
It's no longer about like who can commentate the longest. I think it's about creating those moments and giving that feeling of inclusivity, or being able to tell stories to the audience that can make them feel things. So that's I guess that's my mission statement whenever I try to be on the mic.
Yeah,
try to tell people's story.
Dude, that's an incredible mission statement. I know a lot of people just talk on a mic to talk on a mic, you know. And we know those guys. Everybody has like 2 or 3 that like you can still achieve success with it, and the people that all they want to do is talk. Right, you know, so I respect that.
Yeah, real recognize real, man. I feel like you have the same thing as well with this podcast. And I know when you went to ICFC Asia, you were very interested in the storylines that were already being
Hells
played.
yeah, man.
So yeah, that's what we do, man. Because you can just slap on a video, like a high level tournament, and just talk about it. But well, let's talk about, you know what, Umashka's Nina, or like any like just anything. Yeah, just everything. Like, just we gotta give justice to the people that grinded so much hours, right?
Yeah. No, absolutely, 100%. And I think that the storyteller role is much more important in commentary, even above game knowledge. I would say, like, that if you know nothing about the game, but you understand that guy doesn't like that guy, it's a much better broadcast as a whole, even if you've no idea if, like, what they're doing technically speaking. If you're able to say, like, you can tell he's aggressive in the way he's playing, like, which means nothing. Like, we like body language in game, that doesn't mean anything. Like, you know, it's pixels on a screen, but he's telling
pressing
you
down a couple times. Oh my goodness, the disrespect.
It is absolutely nuts.
I think the storytelling is something so innate and primal in us that if you're able to, yes, game knowledge is supposed to be there, but again, for me, I'm not really the most mechanically gifted in the game, but I understand the game well enough to tell a story. And one of my strengths that I try to bring to the broadcast is bringing that primal storytelling about, like, this person, you know, grinding each and every week, going up against the person that's already been, you know, the immovable object versus the unstoppable force. You know, those classic tropes.
Absolutely.
And, you know, master versus student. Or, you know what, former teammates now facing each other in the finals. Like, you love to hear it, you love to see it.
Of course. I mean, I've preached this stat so many times, but there are 10 million copies of Tekken 7 sold. There's maybe, and I don't know, but there's maybe 1,000 players that could win a tournament globally. Like, if you think about, like, you know, obviously you have your top, you could maybe name the top 8 in Asia, like, you know, Europe, whatever. If there's 1,000, that's great. Like, we don't commentate for those guys. We commentate for the 9 million other people, 9.5 million other people that are watching just because, I bought this game, I wonder if the tournament's any good on it. Like, nobody cares about down forward 2 pressure, but if you say gut punch, that's so much better. Like, for everyone who knows or down forward 1 pressure. Sorry, I literally just got confused. Like, I always say down forward 2 is an uppercut and down forward 1 is a gut punch. But, like, it just makes so much more sense to anybody who doesn't understand. Like, when we say a DF2, like, if I say it to you, you know, but if we're talking to anybody else who's watching the broadcast, they're like, DF2? What the hell is that? Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, you know, like, that combination of words coming out of people's mouths don't make sense. Whereas if you say uppercut, damn, man, somebody's like, he did just uppercut, and gut punch, man. It just has, like, that's why move names are incredible, like Matterhorn and that sort of stuff, you know? Like
Falcon Shield. I remember I was like, I was geeking out with you when we were talking about move names in Tekken, because they have the best move names.
Right.
Like, you gotta admit, if you guys haven't checked it out yet, just look and appreciate what Harada did with the move names. Just let's appreciate that. Like, and I think Aris said it best too when he was asked about commentating. He's like, I just say random numbers because people don't really listen to that. So, because he brings that hype, you can get away with confusing a down forward 2 and down forward 1. But yeah, if you say like this, you know what, the way he's pressuring with the down 2, the down 4, like, you could say that. Or, you know what, when Tasty Steve says break the legs, right?
Exactly.
Right? He adds context to that. So that's what I tried doing. I know that I kind of overdid it at one point where I just said the move names, and it got to the point where it sounded like the numbers. Like, you're just saying a lot of, like, oh, look at him do the Altair, look at him do the slide and all that. So I try to sparingly do it and try my best to, like you said, just create that story. Oh, he's cutting him off with that uppercut. Look at him. He can't even circle to the right anymore because he's got him down. Like,
it makes so much more sense, because if a clip, you know, we talk about going viral in the Tekken scene. Going viral as having 5,000 views. Like, whereas if you think about like if your clip got 5,000 views in the Tekken scene, it's huge, man. Boom. Like, whereas like you talk about actual virality and you see clips of 10 million views, like, like those people don't all know about Tekken. Whereas if you use words that like, I don't know, man. Like, I don't commentate for the competitive player, and I'm not the competitive player's commentator. I'm not about to break down exactly why that thing worked.
You'd be surprised. I mean, I talked to some of the competitive players as well, like in the Philippines at least, and I asked them, hey, is there anything, I always ask to try to improve my style. They said, I think you should stick to your style, because you're the one that attracts, and yours as well, Sam, like you attract the mainstream ones to go, because if you think about it, the competitive players, they mute us. They don't.
Sure.
They just look at the gameplay, right?
Yep.
And like, I'm not gonna listen to this guy wearing a hat talk about my move. They just know. That's why I stay to my lane. I'm not gonna say like I know what he's thinking. So, but I try to, like the 9 million out there, I try my best to tap them and say how exciting this game is, because you guys are what we're trying to get excited about our game, to play it, to buy it, to do whatever.
That's exactly it, man. That's absolutely it. Like, and like it is awesome to imagine that there's people out there that like are able to break down minutiae of plays so intricately that when you see that same interaction happen the second time, you know exactly. Yeah. Like, but like they are not broadcast ready commentators, like, like
if it would be great, actually, one of my, well, this is gonna take so much prod, but it would be good if there was an analyst booth. No one to like, stop frame by frame, look at this, boom. I feel like I have so much friends that could just break down the matrix, ones and zeros.
Yeah. But like,
I think you and me, Sam, we got the gift of gab.
That's it.
When he asked us to break it down, we'd be like, well, he moved to the right and he stuffed it. So there you go.
Yeah.
You're saying?
I mean, exactly what I'm saying. They tried that at UFA in Paris, and it was great. Like, it was really, really good, because people who were like into the game could sit and watch that, and people who were just there for the explosions and the emotions were then going, that's now their break time. Like,
right.
And you almost had a choice, and it took the pressure off the commentators that I don't need to worry about why that was awesome. I just have to tell you it was awesome. Like,
exactly. I think Identity 5 does. Yeah, in Japan and China, they have an analyst booth there, which helps the commentators and the analysts kind of have that segregation, because the analysts, or they have a panel host booth, and they have like a that whiteboard, not really a moving monitor that they can pause. Fast forward, do that.
The American football thing, yeah.
Yeah, they do that, and like you said, it takes the pressure off the commentators, especially in between the times they have to talk. And at least the analyst knows what they have to, like, all right, this is how to break it down. Back to you, like, commentators, and like, we're up to the picks and bans already. So it's such a smooth flow. That's just me, in my Christmas list of things to have, because that would be great. But I know it's going to be such a production, like, it'd be very costly for production.
I mean, it would, but there are some, like, I mean, I've just noticed in the last, like, I've only really been in the kind of scene for the last year or two, that since I started, when I started, there was 4 commentators in Europe. Like, there might have been 6 in America that can, like, hold their own on a major broadcast. Now, shit, man, in Europe there's 15. America, I have no idea. There's guys that are really, really good at this shit. Like, and I mean, a lot of it is from watching Spag, from watching Tasty Steve, from watching, guys like yourself and Weed Maru and stuff, like, guys that are able to kind of hit those, like, that I will watch a broadcast if you're on it, rather than I'm watching, I don't know what the name of the tournament, you know, like the Junkyard Fight Pit, whatever. And I'm like, I've never heard of that team, that tournament before, but Poch is commentating, hells yeah, let's do it.
Wow.
Like, you know.
Oh my God, really?
Of course, man, like, you know. Somebody said we're the influencers of the Tekken world. And I was like,
you gotta take a sip of that. What? No, I think it's really Spag, Rip, Tasty Steve. They're the ones. Mark, man, shout outs to them. They're the ones that, I mean, they're the goats, right? When it comes to the broadcasts and all that. And I really feel like you, Bugsy, also, you guys are breaking into that mold, man. So I'm super proud of you guys. And I would have to say, it's great that a lot of people are getting into it. And, you know, a rising tide just rises all
ships. Yes. Yeah, a rising tide raises all ships is the phrase. Yeah.
We're dropping quotes since the start.
That's it.
I remember. That's a joke, ladies and gentlemen. You got to subscribe to the Patreon.
Yeah.
To get. So that was offline. But yeah, I just think that it inspires everyone, and I try my best not to have like a starving mentality, like, oh, there's so much commentators, I'm not gonna get work. No, man, like, we're all gonna get better here.
Exactly. I feel like maybe it's the way I bring a conversation, but I've had this conversation a couple of times now, I think on the podcast as well, but like, the worst that can happen if another commentator comes up under you is you lose a gig to that person and you realize what they did better than you because of that moment. The best that can happen is that you develop another friend in this industry who has a completely different, like, start point or path or even experiences or whatever. Like, you get more kind of, you know, oh Jesus, don't work with that guy, no, it doesn't matter how much money he offers you, man. Like, you know, I did 2 shows for him back last year and they never got paid or whatever. Like, all he sent me was a sticker, like, you know. But, you know, like, there is nothing negative that comes from more commentary, and I'm sure it's the same in other industries. I can only speak for kind of commentators and hosts and that sort of stuff. Like, but like, the more people that are in it, the better we get. Or like, we have to, or else we become the dinosaurs that the new kids are going to do that show and they're going to make the money. Like, you know.
Yeah, and if people are actually worried about it, you have to admit, like, only the truly passionate ones are the ones that are gonna level up and get better, because you have to admit, Sam, this is a grind. You have to always constantly find ways to better yourself. Totally. And I think a lot of people think, yeah, we've talked about that person that just jumps on the mic and thinks it's all good. It's really not. You gotta be comfy on the mic. You have to know the game. You have to have a feel of it. And now it seems like a standard is you have to know how to commentate online, and that is so much harder because the person's not next to you, and you gotta feel your way through the process.
Yeah.
You're alone in a room talking, dude. How are you gonna try to project that to the world?
Exactly. Yeah. It was really funny. Do you get the DMs from other commentators or like the new guys and be like, hey, I'm thinking about getting into commentary, like what should I do, like, whatever? And like, unfortunately, like, and I'm gonna say this now on record, the only way to do this is to do it badly and then get better as you do. It's like starting a video game that you can watch all of the YouTube tutorials you want and you might have a better insight into how to do it, but when it comes to the actual execution, you're going to get it wrong, and it's going to take you you have to look back on the bad thing you did and then say, okay, I'm not going to do that again and I'm going to do this now. Like, you know, that I got a DM yesterday or the day before about so I said at the World Tour finals, mightn't have been the best idea, but I was like, any commentator DM me and I'll help you out. And
you know how much people are watching that?
Flooded, dude, I got flooded, right? And I love it. I responded to every single one of them. Nice. And I was like, okay, first of all, where are you from? How much commentary have you done before? Because like, there was a guy from Atlanta and he was like, I just don't know where to get my start. And I was like,
wet. Yeah.
Atlanta is like the home of Tekken. You've Pochop, you've Anakin, like their local scenes. Like, and I don't know their local scenes, but I'm like, go there, talk to whoever is running the production. But whatever. I got this DM from a guy. He's based in Amsterdam. And he did his first tournament. He's already started commentating. And he was like, I did 4 hours straight solo commentary. And I was like, holy damn. Respect. Solo, right? And what he said to me was, he was like, I would love your input on how I did, and I don't want you to say not bad for a first time. And I was like, I respect that so much more than anybody else who's DM me being like, I've never commentated before, but I want to commentate. And I'm like, commentate.
Yeah,
then. Like,
he's
you know,
a self-starter. Shout outs to that guy. Like,
yeah.
He's gritting his teeth. He's burying his feet in the sand. He's like, all right, let's do this.
But the only reason he has come to that conclusion is gotten to that place is that he's asked other people, and they say it's not bad for a first time, and then dropped it. No other thing. Like, he wants me to go over his VOD and pick apart some stuff and be like, why should I do this or shouldn't do that? You gotta respect that one, man. You gotta respect that guy's gonna be good, like, straight up.
That's
like
the grind. Yeah, for sure. Can't wait. Hopefully, like, this story is gonna get clipped and be like, boom, this was my Sam was talking about me, guys. Look at me now. TWT 2030 whatever. Right? That could be the start of something. And you have to admit, I do get the occasional DMs and like, hey, how do I audition? How do I do this? And yeah, I usually I do the same as you. I was like, you got to start, or just play a video, record yourself.
Yep.
Tell me what you think about it too. And usually, more often than not, they just stop replying.
Yep. Exactly.
It's not the most conventional response, but you gotta just do it.
Unfortunately, we are workers. There's nobody who gets to a sort of a successful, and I hate using that word, like, but do you know, like, to a point where we can actually make money from this, that doesn't have this weird work ethic that I'll wake up at 4 a.m. just to do an American stream. Like, you know, like if you tell that to like a traditional
people?
Yeah, you know, it doesn't make sense. It was like, no,
what?
just
Why?
you turn that show down. You're like, no, I'm gonna take that $50 into my PayPal and I'm gonna have a wonderful, like, 5 a.m. shift, like, you know.
Exactly.
But you get that 100%. But if I say that to my traditional friends, they're like, what are you doing? Don't do that. That's not how you're supposed to do it. Yeah.
That's not business. That's not right. Yeah, again, it's really, you gotta be in a learner's mindset. You have to know that you want to get more experience, and yes, you may get like these gigs that don't necessarily are good financially, but the experience you're gonna gain, the confidence you're gonna gain, there's nothing that can trade you off for that. And honestly, shout outs to Playbook, because that's the place I've kind of grit my teeth in. So we have this thing called FGC Fridays, so it's like a local spot, and they always have commentaries on. And no matter what the game was, I always say, can you put me on for that? Like, I don't like, and it's just broadcasted to whoever's watching. And I always just try whoever was on the main stage. I just try my best to just keep going. And shout out to Boss Richard also, because he took a chance on me. Pika also, and Hot E. They're the ones that really like, all right, yeah, you just take the slot and do this, do that. If I may ask, what's a show that, like, yeah, this doesn't seem financially good, or this doesn't seem like a fair trade, but you did it anyway just to get the experience?
I think anything like, so 23 is kind of different now, I think. So like 22 was like, that was me solidifying my place in the industry. So I did Evo and the World Finals, which were my two life goals in commentary.
Let's
like
go.
Do you know, like that was when I got into this, I was like, if I can do those two things, I can die happy, like, you know. And
Okay.
so after Evo, stuff kind of changed, that very seldomly I would get asked to do shows that, do you know, I don't know, like, I remember getting these DMs of being like, look, we've no money, but can you fly to wherever, Spain, to do this show? We can't pay you, but you can stay on my cousin's sofa that night. And like, I mean, maybe in the very first year that I was breaking on that I was like, yeah, no, absolutely, that sounds awesome, dude. I can't wait to be over there, like, or whatever. But like, I don't know, man. I think it's that knowing your worth thing. All right, sorry. To answer your question, what's a gig that I did that I...
Yeah, I can.
I have one.
Go.
I have one. I have one.
Cool.
Yeah.
Right, let's go.
So there was a tournament. Now I'm friends with this guy, right? And I want to just preface this by saying I had so much fun, right? But there was a tournament that I did, and this guy had been trying to get me to do this tournament for about 2 years. He was one of the first like major tournaments that liked me and wanted me on this his tournament. And unfortunately, in the 2 years that COVID happened, my name just got bigger and bigger. So when COVID ended or whatever, the big boys got involved, Bandai Namco got involved and that sort of stuff, and they said, okay, so you can only pick off this list of guys who are going to commentate your top 8, like, you know. And so he asked me would I do it. I said, absolutely, no problem, I'd love to. You know, we've talked about this for years, like, and there was never a conversation about price. There was it was just and like, in hindsight, as a business related to as a friend, I should have had this conversation, but I flew out, flights and accommodation were paid, and I made for me. And I stayed in a bus stop B&B with 2 other people. It was a 2-bed and there was 3 people in it. There was a sofa bed that it like folded up into a chest of drawers. I'm not joking. And I got paid 0 for that job.
Wow.
Now,
dang.
The gig I did before that paid my rent for a month. The gig I did after that paid my rent for a month and a half. So this was like a weird sort of freak sort of thing that was almost the kind of last of the I need to get my name out sort of thing, like, you know, do it for exposure sort of stuff. And I don't want to say more about it because I'm a huge fan of the guy who organizes it, and obviously I know the story, but should I tell it? I should probably I shouldn't say his name
for the Patreon.
Yeah.
No, it's for the Patreon content. Don't worry, I get you though, and it's more of the building your name for that exposure thing that I get. That I think that was the biggest takeaway in it. Like I get that, you know, you want to. I talk to other commentators too, and I'm like, yeah, you gotta ask them for this, but they feel like, no, I'm still making a name for myself. I don't think I can ask for that much. I'm like, no, you really deserve this much, man. You need to get that money and all that. So I'll be honest, like, what's funny with me, my stories there is actually in wrestling, and I was ring announcing. So
sorry, can you just break that down for me? What is ring announcing compared to commentary?
Well, it's more of like hosting, right? So commentating is like you're in the booth, and usually in indie promotions they just have like a hard cam and a roving cam. They don't really have like people with a commentary booth. They have people talking,
right?
So they have me as like a ring announcer. I'm in my penguin suit and I gotta be like, this match is scheduled for
okay, right, yes.
So I would bring my suits to really weird locations and I'd ring announce for a hot dog and a handshake. So but I just wanted to break into the business, right?
Right.
There was this one time I ring announced for it was right after a cockfight. That was so weird.
Damn.
So and then people, and you know, like wrestling, right? It's predetermined. That's what they say. People thought it wasn't predetermined, so it was like, is this okay to do? But we had to preface, hey, this is a show, this is a spectacle. So I had to open up with that, and then whatever. But I didn't really get paid that much. I didn't get paid at all, I think. One time I got paid with just a t-shirt.
A t-shirt.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
But then, you know what, sometimes I also got some commentary work where it's just a t-shirt, and that's fine because I was just getting my name out there. I think you will have to go through that just to get your name out there too. But when you're confident enough to name your price, and I think that's a good time to be also like stand your ground, like you said. just because you know you've worked these type of events, you've had these experiences under your belt, and you can ask for that value. Because commentating, especially that guy who commentated for 4 hours, that is no easy feat.
Straight up.
You gotta get your money in.
But like, I think, as I said, anybody who's at the level that we're at, that we can do majors in our own region, like, you know, and like that, it's not like oh, I don't know if I can do this, like, you know, we all know that we can do this, like, you know, that thought only comes at 4 a.m. like when we're having a shower
and two,
like,
and two bottles and
yeah.
do this.
But yeah, like, it's such a weird thing, because you have to separate, because obviously, as you said, like, maybe it's just me and you, that the way that we commentate is that it's us. This is how I talk normally. This is how I talk with my friends. And if I'm excited about something, I'd be like, oh, dude, you never heard this story before, but wait a minute, there was a thing that happened. You are about to lose your mind, right? Like this is how we talk. Like, I can speak for myself. Sorry, I shouldn't speak for you. But like, when somebody offers that money for you to do that, like, there's a weird, like, I would probably do this for a quarter of that money, or half of that money, or,
yeah,
you know.
and it's crazy when you put a label on it, right? And it's like, wait, am I this much? Or like, and you have that weird thing, because you're technically yourself. So I get what you were saying, to have that sort of separation. And that's why I kind of like also my circle of friends that don't know much about.
That's a great circle of friends to have, like, in that context.
Put you down to reality. It's like, hey, you know, you're yourself. You're fine. You don't have to talk about whatever. And I think also, I also have a girlfriend, and she also does not understand, like, DF2s and all that. She's been to events, right? She's been to that, but it's good to have yourself grounded, because it's easy to get lost in the fodder and the smoke and mirrors of being a broadcaster, esports, because you have to admit, it's very exciting and it's so surreal, as you mentioned.
It is.
So yeah, I get those 4 a.m. thoughts too. Like, dang, you know, I don't feel like I'm working, because I'm talking about something I love.
I mean, it's exactly, like, you know, like, I'm technically working now, and I
gotta put on a suit.
I
gotta clock in.
Yeah, I'm a fair few Jamesons deep now, like, you know, I mean, technically dream job, still required a lot of effort.
Exactly. The bathroom is so far away, so if ever you're gonna play there, you're gonna have to time your drinks wisely, especially if you're playing long sets, because you're gonna take a while walking.
Dude, I was commentating a tournament one time, and I had like maybe 4 hours sleep the night before. Like, we literally arrived, so I brought my girlfriend over, and we had arrived in London at like 6 a.m. or something, and the check-in, or the first matches were on at 12, and I had to do like the full day, so was it 2 or 3 hour blocks, I can't remember, but I was tired, so I drank about 8 cups of coffee or something, and then as soon as I started broadcasting, I was like, just give me all the water, just slamming that back. But at one point it was like, I don't even know, was it an important match or whatever, but I was like, hitting up production, I was like, I need to go for like 2 minutes or whatever. They got a cosplayer to film my role, because this guy was so mad for like the camera that he was like stood like there the entire time, like dressed as Eddie Gordo though, like looked slick, like, but he had to sit down as I was like, dude's genuinely, I need to go, like unless you could give me like a funnel right now and a bottle, I need to leave like right now, like, you know. But
shout outs to Hibbert. He was one of the prod guys when I was casting this one like tournament, and I slammed like a really, you know, monster energy drink. Like, I did that, and then it burned right through me. And then we were in hour 2, and there was no break. And then I had a pen and paper, because I always have a pen and paper, right? I said, I have to use the bathroom. Then he wrote back to me, hold it. He gave it back to me. And I was like, oh my God, just Lord in heaven, please help me.
Oh man.
So I had extra desperation in my voice for so much years that we're so close to making it. I was like, oh. Cut to break. I sprinted to the bathroom. I was like, oh, there we go.
Yeah, that's when you want 3-0, 3-0, 3-0, like all the way through. Like.
Here's a pro tip I would have to say. So shout outs to Nello Mello, one of my IDV partners and commentators. We have this, if you guys notice, I'm going to peel back the curtain a little bit. We have this word. It's our word to know if we have to use the bathroom, our safety word, right? Mm-hmm. If we use that word while we're in the middle of the match, that means we got to go. Because the system we use, it's not like in ICFC where you see each other. So you kind of have to verbally say it. So when we say a specific word, that's when you know, like, okay, that means you have to talk for like 5 minutes. I gotta use the bathroom, or I gotta pick up my takeout from the door or something. I would say if you might want to establish that when you talk to your co-commentators, and
that's
I really
great
feel like
thing.
that's one thing people should learn how to do is talk to your partner, talk to your co-host. Like, what kind of style do you bring? What kind of do you do this, do that? Joke around, so you have that natural chemistry.
Absolutely.
So much so that me and Sam can finish each other
sandwiches. But oh no!
I actually froze. What the heck? I didn't even time that. That's clipped, right? That was clipped. I actually genuinely froze.
That's crazy. That is.
Let's try to spike your Wi-Fi at this.
That is so funny how that worked out so perfectly. What's the word?
It's SOS.
SOS. You just have to use that like phrase,
you know? Oh, it's not looking too good. He's got to give an SOS because it's his only chance for him to make his comeback. Okay, so this is what it has to do here. That's the word.
God, that's
because you can't use a regular word that you say normally.
Sure, so. Yeah.
Because you'd be like, oh, I gotta talk really long now. So I think people say SOS in regular commentary. So
yeah,
maybe now when people hear this, they'll be like, oh, Poch is saying SOS. He's got to pee.
Yeah. Now you're about to get blown up. I know Poch went for a pee right there.
Yeah, I listened to the show. I know when you go pee. I know the tech.
Do you get much internet hate? Have you?
Yeah, I've received my fair share when I first started with Identity 5, but I honestly just had to study the game and get to know the community more for it. So it's something that I get scared of, and that pushes me to learn a little more.
I'll be honest, psychologically speaking, you're not at fault there. I just need to tell you that you're not at fault.
I really need to hear this. Okay, let's hear it.
You're absolutely not. Like the internet is where people can just say what they want with no repercussions. So for you to get internet hate, and obviously it has a positive repercussion there that like you or not repercussion, but you know that you want to learn the game more. That's a good thing that came out of a bad thing, but those bad comments happen whether or not if you helped design the game, you wouldn't have enough knowledge to stop the hate and be like, actually, I think that
it's supposed to be 12 frames instead of 13. Poch, what are you talking about? Yeah, that's why I stay away from frames. I try my best to stay in my strengths, and thank you for saying that, because from what I gather from it, if I know this person's coming from somewhere, if there's a truth, and I actually turned Kinwai, shout outs to him, he's one of the person that really critiqued my commentary. Then I DM'd him, I'm like, hey man, because it looked like he was coming from a place of genuine, like, hey, if you want to learn the game, hit me up. I messaged him, and he was really kind enough to give me resources. Then I started studying the game, knowing the community more, because I was really new to Identity 5. And I got to know a lot of people. Shout outs to him. And there's a difference between those trolls that just hate on you and people that actually want you to get better at your craft. Because there is the truth to coming in like, hey, you show this much or this, that. So I was kind of bold enough because my friend said, hey, don't feed the trolls. Don't, I bit, and I felt like I got a little better from it. I got a lot better, I'll be honest. And I think it's also good to not leave yourself in an echo chamber, be like, oh, all my haters, they're just haters.
Yeah.
I guess my advice there is just keep a circle. Like, have real ones to tell you, hey, you need to improve on this, improve on that.
Yeah.
But I appreciate you, Sam, because you definitely helped my mental with that one.
No, man, I'm telling you, man, like internet hate isn't hate, and that's why it's prefaced with the word internet. Like, you know, like these aren't people that actively hate you. Like, they're not, like, if you meet these people in real life, they'll probably ask you for a photo. Like, you know, like these Twitter comments or whatever, like, you know, like they're terrible, and we just need to understand that, like, why we get these gigs is because of the shit we've done before. And if the shit we've done before was as flawed as these people say, we wouldn't be here for you to put a comment under that YouTube video of a show that I did. Like, you know, like I wouldn't have that show. Like, you know, it's obviously, like, so I took a weird stance that, like, because I was so new right up until the point when I was getting majors, that nobody saw what I did or whatever. So I used to get this, like, how did he get the gig when that guy didn't get the gig? That was like how it kind of started. But in my brain, because I hadn't gotten hate for maybe 3 or 4 years, I was like, no, I'm just the nice guy. Nobody can hate me. Like, you know, in this weird narcissistic sort of thing, that when I did finally get these, like, asshats on the internet that are just, like, talking from their, like, you know, PC. That I was like, I read down through them all.
Oh no.
Yup. And I was like, Jesus, maybe I did do that. Like, and reflected inwardly, which is definitely not the way to go. Because then I started, like, thinking about what I can change to become a better, like, or to impress that one person, you know, Swagmaster 420, like, you know, like, you know, how can I keep Swagmaster happy? Like, you know, and it's
so weird, right? Because you get like 100 positive stuff, like Swagmaster that sticks with you. We're looking at you, Swagmaster. Why don't you love us, Swagmaster?
Exactly. And, like, the video could have 100,000 views, and nothing else has come except for, like, dude, it's so cool to see this, blah, 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 all this other stuff. One guy goes, yeah, but his mustache looks stupid, and you're like, shit, maybe I should shave it off. Maybe I should shave it off, dude.
No, it's the most impressive feature. Yeah, I get what you mean there. And how did you get out of that cycle? You were in the middle of it. You were going through it. You saw Swagmaster. How did you get yourself out of that rabbit hole?
It was God, like absolute. My girlfriend is the greatest human that exists on the planet right now, because, like, it would literally affect me. Like, as in, like, I would just be scrolling Twitter, and then I would see, you know, I wouldn't be tagged, but, like, there would be a thing, and I'm just like, that guy's got a funny input here. Like, but what was it was it was something under, like, Michael Murray tweeted out and was like that me and Kwis were his favorite commentators for 22. Okay. And I was like, that is the biggest thing that's ever happened in my life.
Feather in my cap.
Right.
Yes. Awesome.
And, you know, my narcissism made me scroll through the comments underneath that tweet, and, like, you know, yeah, it's awesome to see Europeans showing up on the world stage. Really, really cool. Nice job. Like, everyone, all that sort of stuff. What I did do is literally just said, worst commentators. That was it. Worst commentators, right? I got pissed. In real life. Like, it affected me here in my home. Like, that I was like, fuck that guy, man. Fuck. He doesn't even know, man. Yeah, Swagmaster 420 says I'm the worst commentator, right?
After compared to Michael Murray, that named you guys the top one, so it's like.
But the only reason he has a voice is because Michael Murray said that I'm his favorite, like, right? But I went down, like, and I remember I was pissed all day, and my girlfriend was like, "What's wrong?" And I was like, "Oh, some fucking guy fucking said some shit." And he was like, why does that affect you? Why does that affect you now? Like, why does that affect you here and now? Like, is he booking you for your next show? And I was like, no, definitely not. He's got, like, 20 something followers.
Okay. An anime DP or something.
Yeah, you know, and then it was that sort of outside perspective looking in that I was like, yeah, actually,
you're right.
What the hell, like, you know. So it gave me that sort of thing that in the world that we operate in, those voices are always going to be there. They're like
a loud minority, right?
Of course, how it affects us is how we process it. So the power is still with us, and if that upsets you, that's almost your choice. That's their desired outcome. But we can then choose to be like, yeah, but there's also 250,000 views on that video, so
true.
We're okay there, like, you know.
I just want to double down on your girlfriend being one of the best people out there. That's why it's so important for you to have a circle or someone to ground you, right? Because we're in this weird, like, community celebrity thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? Yeah, we have a few followers here and there. Yes, people listen to us because of these type of events. But in the grand scheme of things, Swag Master means nothing. Like, that's like, you're hosting this show that's about fighting games, and someone named you the best. That's awesome, right? Yeah, you could take it both ways also, that it doesn't inflate your ego too much, and also the hate doesn't stick with you. So it's good to always have that. And yeah, I think that was so good of her to change your perspective, because I've been there too. I've went down the rabbit hole. My narcissism got the best of me. You Google, you search your name on Twitter.
Sure, dude. Don't ever. For any new commentator, don't do that. I mean, I know you will. I'm speaking to you directly. The guy that DM'd me. Like, I know you will. But don't do it. It's not worth it. It's not worth it at all.
Build like a trust, like a board of directors, if you would.
That's so good.
Right. Yeah, have friends in the industry, maybe a few out of the industry. Have people that, you know, are event managers, and only listen to them, because they will not blow smoke up your butt. They'll be like, yo, you do this right, do that right, and
exactly. They'll tell you what you did wrong too. They'll say, like,
to your face,
when you do your next show, maybe don't do this, and you're like, and it hurts a little bit, because you expect perfection, like, you know. But then you go, okay, no, he was actually right. As I watch back the VODs, yeah, no, cool, all right, next show, that's getting cut out, like, or whatever.
Exactly, and that's the way to grow, ladies and gentlemen. It's weird, right, that our narcissism kind of kicks in, and you'd be like, oh. Because one time, someone called me cringe, and I was like, oh, and I was like upset also the whole day. I'm like, cringe? What are you doing? And then I like that you said also you like build this nice guy persona. To be honest, like, it gets kind of tiring, and you're human at the end of the day, and these things affect you, and you're not going to be 100% either way. You try your best to be, and you know, sometimes if you make a joke, if you make an opinion, it gets given the wrong way. But if your intention is still there, you should be fine. So, like, they don't train you to deal with hate. It's weird.
Nobody.
So thank you for giving me that perspective on it too.
Of course, man. I think that it's so important, especially with a kind of public facing role, that you're dealing with literally thousands of people on a kind of, every time we go on broadcast, like, thousands of people are watching you and listening to what you're saying. That there's always going to be knob jockeys in the bunch, like, you know, that they're just out, like, to say some hurtful shit, and just to boost their own profile, like, you know, that's exactly what it is, like that. Like, if 99% of people like Poch Spice, the 1% that don't like you want to bring this crowd, like, you know, oh, we're Poch haters, man. You know, that's what's that? Swag Master, man.
Swag Master, you live in a head right free. How dare you, sir? God dang. Keep me up
but
at night.
On the same thing, man, humans are humans, like, you know, like, I mean, this is the idea of the podcast, to humanize some of these characters that even when I started, these guys were gods, like, you know. Like,
Yeah, that's true.
that
I'd love having conversations with, yeah, just the people that are behind the mic, because usually, like, you and me both know that we're more than just Tekken, we're more than just fighting games, we're more than that. So it's nice to talk to people. And I'll be honest, like, Sam, I don't know if we have people to talk to about haters, right? I don't know, that circle of friend of mine, yeah, they're gonna be like, that's not a thing, like, you shouldn't feel that way. But then I know you can empathize with me because you felt the same way, so it's good to know.
Yeah.
I can talk to you about this too, because I have friends also that they love the hate. They thrive in it. Oh yeah, hate me even more. But I'm like, I'm not built that way, dude. That hurts. Stop saying mean things.
Exactly the same. I literally have one friend who will literally use the thing that people hate about him the most. Like, he does this Bruce Buffer thing where he's like, ladies and gentlemen, like, and it's I told him, I was like, dude, stop doing that sucks, like, you know. And he just uses that, and he's like, I'ma just do it. I'ma just do it, man, like, you know,
lean into the hate.
Whereas, as you said, I'm like, no, I don't want that. I don't want that.
So there's a concept in wrestling, you know, like heat, or like, so there's a baby face, that's the good guy, and there's a heel, that's the bad guy, right?
Yeah.
So there are things like, you know, the cool type of heat that you get from heels, like, you know, anti-hero heat that you love.
Right.
But that, if it's annoying, then that's called cheap heat, where it's like, well, you're just doing that to annoy me now just to get a reaction instead of actually telling a good story about it. So you want to be smart with that. You want to be able to, because hate is actually easier to elicit than love.
Sure.
So some people use that right. You know, like the villains of the FGC and the way they're able to, you know, like talk a lot of smack and be like, yeah, blah blah blah, I could do this, I could do that. Like, people hate them, but you can't deny they're really good.
Yeah.
So for me, I think in commentary you can't really do that, but you can tell that story. So that's good.
I like that phrase, cheap heat. That almost kind of describes that I'm just gonna do this because it annoys you, like, you know, like that sort of thing. It's probably better to be, if somebody thought about it and doesn't like you after they thought about it, that's kind of, if you are going for that heel character or the bad guy or, you know, the villain in your story, that's what you want, rather than, this guy is annoying as hell, man. Let's tweet about it, like, you know.
I guess the better type of heat would be the guy that's undeniably good, and he's just like, what? Does not mean my game. Yeah. Like, dang, that's the heat that, ooh, I genuinely don't like this guy, but I gotta respect him. Yeah. So instead of you being cheap heat, it'd be like, oh, they keep spamming the same move or something. Yeah. I also know, like, instead of heat, you get like a pop off moment, right? So, Tasty Steve is, you know what, his line makes some noise, right? That's an easy way to get a good pop off. But that's, you know, if you use it too much, it's like that. So you gotta build those moments too, if you get a good pop off from the crowd. If you want to be that good guy, baby face. Yeah. Look at me, I'm doing my job right, you know? Yeah. No, absolutely. I mean, what was the thing that he changed it at the World Finals? Because I remember, because I said make some noise when I was on with Steve, and then he, like, so we were doing this whole thing that there was, you know, like the finals of the pools, and I was okay, ladies and gentlemen, if you like X character, blah, blah, blah. Make some noise or whatever, right? And then it was Steve's turn to do the other guy, and he was like, okay, ladies and gentlemen, if you like this, how about you holler at me one time? I was like, damn, man. Dude, Steve can pull that off, man.
Steve is so good. Like, he's so good.
He knows how to adjust on the fly. That's amazing. He made another catchphrase on his own, and no one else can do it besides him.
Dude, good ass Tekken is Steve's thing. Like that's Steve. Like for however, do you know, like Rip's Boom is pretty cool and stuff, like like
ladies and lads too,
of course, like, you know, like, but like Make Some Noise was on t-shirts, or like Good Ass Tekken was on t-shirts, like, you know, like that's insane.
Yeah, and it's not like the thing that, like, how I'm like where we just repeat certain lines. That was, I don't know, it's organic, that's catchy, and it's not like something that he was known for as well. That's part of who Tasty Steve is and the legacy he built, and I think people should strive for that. But again, like you said, don't be a 6.5 Steve. Be a 10 or 11 version of you.
That's so true. That's so true. Like there was a guy, I don't know, I might be calling people out like or whatever, but like this guy wanted to be Tasty Steve, but the European version, right? And you know, I had heard of him, and he was coming up in the kind of commentary scene and stuff, like, you know, and shout outs to him, did well and stuff. But I was talking to a production manager, and I was like, oh yeah, have you heard about this guy? He lives like not too far from here, like would you not get him in to do it? He was like, dude, the man is wearing like the bracelets like Steve does.
Oh, even down to the bracelets?
Down to the bracelet, as in the man like bought like, I think there's some number, I don't know what the lore is behind his bracelets or whatever, but he's got like 40 something bracelets, like, or whatever. Wow. Like, you know, I
mean, I like wristwear, but not like 40.
But but this guy only did it because Tasty Steve did it, like, you know. And I was like, ooh, no, that's don't be a 6 out of 10 Steve, be an 11 out of 10 you, bro.
Put that in a t-shirt. Let's go. sell the Patreon content. Let's go.
Dude,
we're putting up a merch store.
It's so funny, man. Like that Patreon thing, like so obviously when we started, I had a team like picked for this podcast, right? And it like, so obviously the idea was mine because I love chatting, but in terms of marketing, getting it on YouTube and Spotify and that sort of stuff, I'm kind of out of the loop with that sort of stuff. So got a couple of guys that knew that sort of stuff in, like, you know, shout outs to the boys, like
let's go.
I was about to mention the company's name, no, because they're actually not associated with the project. they're in my DMs, like, you know, and like nice. So I'll be like, how
the boys,
but Drift, my editor, man, that man works harder than any other human I've ever met in my life, for a project that is basically just my, like, I love chatting, like, you know. But damn, where was this going? I had a point.
We were talking about Patreon.
Exactly it, right? So about the Patreon. So the initial idea was to immediately monetize this project, the Fuzzy Guard project, right? And I don't know, that's the bit that I don't really like about doing this sort of stuff, because, like, you know, it's free. Like, you know, like, watch it on YouTube, listen to it on Spotify. Shout outs to everybody listening up now, like, you know. But you know, so there is a Patreon that exists for Fuzzy Guard, right? But we tried to do this thing that every week I would do like a 30-minute block of me talking on my own, and that's what you got with the Patreon. And I recorded the first episode, and dude, I am not designed to talk on my own for 30 minutes. Alone. Like I kept saying shit like, is this good? Is this good? I don't know. Is this good?
I need feedback. What's happening?
You know?
Oh my God.
Yeah, I think the conversation aspect of is what my idea was, and then obviously it kind of grows into the different kind of aspects, the Twitter and the YouTube and the Spotify and these kind of different things. But that was a part that I was just not ready for, and I don't know. I was like, yeah, I'll try it, like, you know, or whatever, and. No, I mean, like, it still might be a thing. I think I might cut it down to like 15 minutes or something, so that it's not just me running out of shit to say and looking at the timer down there and being like,
I'm done.
Okay, so we've another 27 minutes to go, so you know. But
I agree. I think that, you know what, I love making content. I love talking to people too, but when it comes to the marketing and monetization, it's a little tough to try and put numbers into things, especially if like it's just you talking. So that's the real struggle, man. I mean, shout outs to like Retro DNA in Singapore. They, you know what, they have like a play spot, and it's like a pass the hat system. However you want to contribute, it's all good. You know, drop as much as you want. Don't even drop anything if you don't feel like it. It's fine. But you know what? Know that this contribution that you're gonna give is gonna go back into funding like this play spot or the content. I think it's just find your own niche, and if you can't talk for 30 minutes straight, just hit me up. I'll talk to you, man.
That's it.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's a good point. That's a good point. Talk to the Patreon supporters.
That's all I need, man. That's all I need. I need somebody to sit and fucking chat.
I'll be the backup dancer. It's all yeah.
Big man called me a backup dancer. There's a Stormzy song that has that.
Yeah, that's true. Look at a Stormzy reference.
Look, we're so down with the kids now.
Look at us. We're with the Zoomers, man.
We're hip. We're hip and cool. Dude, I couldn't, man. So I had God, what was the name of his position? I can't remember, but his job is he connects big brands to influencers or content creators. Ooh. Right? And
influencer
so
marketing,
what was he called? A brand specialist or something? I can't remember. It was some weird title that's only made up in the last 2 years, right? But so he sat down and we had a chat about me as a brand, right? And it's always a weird conversation, like, you know, like to be like, yeah, but I mean, it's just me having the crack, like, you know, like this isn't like, to me this isn't marketable, like this is just you know, if you buy me a beer in a bar, this is exactly what you get. This is exactly what you get. Where, like, if I'm at an event and you say, hey Sam, I got you a beer, this is what you'll get. Like, you know,
there you go.
This isn't something that I've rehearsed or turned on or whatever. Like, this is how I talk in pubs.
I got like the 20-page script you gave me. Like, I got a 19 right now.
Yeah, we get the bit when somebody dies or something, like season finale.
Oh no, you're skipping ahead. No, the part 2 came. Anyway. But yeah, I get you.
But he was talking about this thing, and he was like, look, the best thing for your brand right now is to get on TikTok. TikTok is huge, it's blowing up right now, like, whatever. Like, I was like, okay, I'll give it a shot. I don't know, like, whatever. Dude, I was on TikTok for about 2 days, and I'm just like scrolling through, and there's just like teenagers, just on doing stupid shit that, like, all I want to be is like, stop doing that. Stop. What are you just God damn it, man.
Oh my God. Go back to school or something. Oh. But yeah, I think because the algorithm doesn't know you yet. Because I dabble into the TikToks, you know, I try to go. Because my For You page is just different. It's mostly like food, video games, powerful websites you should know about, blah, 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 or dance trends. So I'm away from those. So you gotta, it's weird. It's a weird algorithm that you gotta, TikTok's a weird space, like, to be honest. I don't know if I can advocate it or not, but your buddy is right that that's how people blow off these days. Like, they blow up these days.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Like, and like, he's worked with like big companies, like, you know, like he was talking to me about his Reebok like deal that he just signed with like a thing, and I was like, damn, man, that's crazy, like, that's big, like, you know. So that's what made me go, damn, man, I'd like some new trainers, like, you know, install TikTok, start scrolling through.
Reebok, yeah.
But dude, I'm 30, man, like, you know, like I feel like what I've got now with Twitter and YouTube and hopefully this podcast, then, like, you know, that I'm good then, so, like, you know.
Yeah, I feel like something that a lot of people do, especially podcast clips, they can just clip anything and just post it on TikTok, and then, like, if they go to your page, just lead to the whole episode, like, full episode here, blah blah blah. So it's TikTok is like a siren that you use that just broadcasts everything to the rest because of the algorithm, the search. A lot of people are there, and the content is so easily consumed. You should also try YouTube Shorts and IG Reels. Yeah, so
that was one thing that we're looking at, definitely. But I think we need to get somebody who's dedicated, because it's the vertical video. So editing those clips is going to be just a little bit of work that
can I suggest that the Patreon content will be Sam doing TikTok dances? So.
Yeah, that's me, man. I'm I'm gonna get some shit on right now, man. Like, you know. Yeah, I bust a move, man.
There we go for the Patreon. For the people that contribute.
I once joined a hip hop dancing group.
No,
in real life,
really?
just to impress a lady. That I was.
Was she impressed?
She was impressed. She was impressed. She was impressed. Like, you know, I went like for 2 weeks, and then stopped. This body was not built for dancing. It was built for making some noise, as Steve would say. Like, you know, I've got a stable equilibrium as I'm sitting down. As soon as I stand up, stuff kind of, you know.
Damn. So my question at the start, like, what's your go-to dance move? You actually have one, I'm guessing.
What's my go-to dance move? You see, so this is the thing that I've talked to people, right? The Irish, I don't know is it the same, but Irish men have this Catholic shame upon them, right? That you can't dance. This isn't a thing that you do, because
was this Footloose? Like, what's going on?
Yeah, exactly. Dancing is for those boys that went to dance college and that sort of stuff, and they do double armed movements, right? Okay. So how they've sorted that is you 50% in dance, you 50% out dance, right? So you're holding a drink with one hand. You have one-handed dance moves. This is it. This is your go-to here. Just right here. Because you're not dancing. You're just on the dance floor with a drink.
With a drink.
With a drink.
You're blowing my mind, Sam. And if the TikTok editor's here, you got to edit that. That is a nugget of gem that the Zoomers need to know about. Get a drink to the dance floor. So, like, ooh. You look real fancy doing that. I was like, damn, he's got moves.
Man,
I'm just drinking.
I'm telling you,
I got a drink.
I've got a dancer's heart, but unfortunately a commentator's body. Like, you know. Yeah, like, I mean, so that became the thing that you always had a drink. Like, and as soon as your drink was gone, you evacuated. You went straight to the bar. You got another drink to continue the one-handed dance moves, like, you know, and whatever. And if you got too into it, people were like, hey, remember, we're still drinking here, man. You know, calm down a bit.
Don't spill.
Yeah.
All right. That's the new tech. That's crazy.
That's it, man. That's it. Because even if you impress people with your dance moves, with your one-handed drink, you'll say, man, I was just out there, I was having a crack, I was still drinking, like, you know, like, you're not putting down your beer and then heading out to the dance floor and doing some madness, like, you know, you're just chilling. You're chilling. Whereas if people don't
vibing. As the Gen Z, I'm vibing.
Just vibing. Good vibes only. Good vibes only. What's up? But if your dance moves aren't good, you can say, well, I wasn't dancing, man. I was out there with a drink, like, you know. It's the safety play. It's the safety. Yes.
There we go. Ooh, I got all my grounds covered. Like, you know, in my dance moves. Well, so what? I'm just here to have a drink and a good time. You like my dance moves? Well, I'm not even here to dance.
Yeah.
That's it. Got the Dr. Pep going.
That's it, man. Load of pep in the step. Let's go, dude. Oh, man. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Ireland is such a weird place. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, I was gonna say, just to cap off that segment, is that I've asked a lot of people that question, like, hey, what's your go-to dance move? This is, by God, I would have to say this is the most favorite response, because I've learned so much. I didn't learn a dance move, I learned a tech. So now I can't wait to try this out.
See, that's it, man. It's like commentary. Nobody can tell you how to commentate. People can tell you how to get to a position where you can commentate, but you do it yourself. Like, you know, like, and if you need that safety net, bring a point. Everyone can see this here. This is here. I'm drinking. No problem. So what I do on this side of my body, I'm gonna have a good time, like, you know.
Ooh, switch it up.
And then,
switch it up.
the switch hand. You're about to go do the roll.
It can happen, dude.
That's it, man.
I'm starting to get creative, man. It's like commentary. You gotta flow with it. No one's gonna teach you the A, B's, and C's of commentary. No, you gotta figure it out.
This is the only video that you'll ever have to watch to become a successful commentator in esports.
There we go.
Really?
That's so good.
Shit, dude, I should just watch that video, man.
Boom. I just gotta subscribe to the page.
Yeah.
Subscribe to this page.
Dude, I swear to God, man, the Fuzzy Guard team are going to absolutely love you because you've mentioned Patreon more times than I've mentioned it in the past episodes that have been recorded. Like, you know,
you gotta promote the Patreon.
we need to get Poch Spice back. Come on, please. Can we get that guy back?
He's pretty natural.
Yeah.
Talk about the Patreon. You keep promoting it. Let's go. But yeah,
dude, I want to sponsor by Manscaped. I really want to try the Lawnmower 4.0. I've heard about it because I consume a lot of podcasts. Like, I want to just try it because I mean, you know, there's some people that I know don't shave, and they're like. The Lawnmower 4.0 has been my resurgence into the dating scene, and you're like, this guy? If that guy likes it, like, I mean, but then again, I mean, how much do they pay per episode? I don't know.
That would actually be great. I love Manscaped, but again, I'm pretty follically challenged here. Like, I'm trying to grow the SamDDing here.
Oh no,
stubbles.
Oh no.
But then maybe like bodily hair. Why not, man? Like the Manscaped, the lawnmower, man. This waterproof.
Yeah.
I got you, man.
It's got the light on it. It's got the LED that they keep pushing. It's like it's an LED, dude. It's an LED. Chill out, like, you know.
It's like follicles, man.
Nobody.
Gotta go against the grain.
Nobody shaves in the dark. Let's just be honest here. You're not turning off the light in your bathroom, like, you know.
Ooh, it's such a taboo thing to do.
Thank
turn off the light.
God, the Lawnmower 4.0 has gifted me with an LED. Like, you know, shut up, dude. Like, you know.
That's not really making a case, but I mean, why there's
fair. Yeah, if anybody from Manscaped is watching, I love your product, dude. Like, you know.
It's good. I will find use for that LED. If I'm in the bathroom and the lights go out, boom, I'm covered. I got a date coming in 5 minutes and the lights go out, boom.
Dude, I need to have you on every podcast. I need to have you.
Breaks into the house and turns off the lights. Boom! I got my lawn.
Yo, cut the power, and you can be.
I can see through the lights.
You can be aerodynamic for the fight that's ensuing.
That's a good line. I know that line. Oh, that's who knows? Make it happen, man. That's a good one.
Look, I mean, we're growing the product, extending kind of reach and that sort of stuff. And I mean, like, just from the DMs I get and the kind of people that meet, I think people like this, like, you know. And I mean, like, I think that just comes from the fact that I don't have an agenda. I didn't talk to you because you have a product to plug or whatever. Yeah. You know, like, I talk to you because I like you and I think you're good at what you do. So
thank you.
I would like.
That's why I said yes to it. The thing is, we haven't really talked before and after, and I feel like I'm not myself because it's like, oh, we gotta get our game faces on because ICFC is coming up. So I appreciate this too. And the only person I'm gonna address now, who has to like this, is freaking Swagmaster. We made it. Get it. It's for you, Swagmaster.
No, but I love having conversations, and especially with people that like. Because I find that people that like, because we're obviously in a super niche field, that even people that are in my same job position in this super niche field have 50 different stories about how they got there. That I was like, Jesus, I should have thought of that 2 years ago, because that would have made shit way easier. What I did was just hammered on the gate. This man found a secret passage in, like, you know, and stuff, like, you know. So I don't know, man. I love it, and especially talking to commentators. I mean, because commentators understand how to speak and how to then not speak. I think that's like a huge thing, that when I ask a question, they're not going, well, actually, what you just said there. Yeah.
That's true. Instead of like, I don't know if you've had interviews. They're like, so tell us the game plan. And you're like, yeah, it will work. Or like, you know, those one word responses, and you're like, oh
Yep.
my god, how do we stretch this episode to 10 minutes so the sponsors will be all right. Oh, jeez.
It's the thing of maybe a hot take, and we're 2 hours and 15 into this podcast.
Seriously?
But
Damn.
not all pro players make good commentators. I'm just saying it now, right?
Oh, mic drop. I get what you're saying. Yeah, it takes it really, like, talking is just another skill on its own. I've seen like the different types of players in different communities as well. Dude, they're there to play the game. So one of the pro players I talked to, I'm here to play a game, really. Like, it's so hard to talk, they say. So I'm like, yeah, I get that take. I get.
But like, let them. They have an elite set of skills. That's the reason we have jobs, is to talk about. That's why we have jobs, and there isn't just a microphone on the players. Because we can talk, they can play, right? Now, obviously, we can also play, but not to the same level as these guys. So we're the talkers, they're the players. Don't switch those things up. They don't mix. They don't mix. In certain situations, they do mix. Okay, and some pro players have made exceptional commentators because they have that insight, right? But the majority have lost all of that talking skill because they play 8 hours of a video game a day and they don't have to speak, like, you know, apart from like direct comms, like, yo, gang coming up on left lane.
Exactly.
Like,
so, sorry, I just have to ask: is my audio all right?
it's totally fine. It's totally fine.
Okay, cool. Because I thought I was going in and out there. Yeah, I totally get you. You know what? They didn't have to be good at communicating, maybe with their teammates. So, that's what's so hard when we go back to that topic of us talking to our families about it. Oh, so you must be really good at the game.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I can talk about it. If you ask me to go up against the best, I don't think I'll do very well.
Yeah, I can probably beat you at this game, but I'm not about to bring home prize money, you know.
That's elite set of skills. I like that you highlighted that, because you can't force a pro player to, and also the people that are giving a hard time to pro players, like, hey, he's got to talk more, or she's got to do this, that. Like, come on, guys, give them some slack. They're thinking like 1,000 miles a second, and you're expecting them also to be charismatic on the mic. No one can have it all. But like Sam said, there are exceptions, and there are people that are very charismatic on the mic. But more often than not, let them be the rock stars they are in the game.
Exactly. This is my point of like the pros, and like, so it was brought to my attention that commentary is the end of the career for a pro player. That after a pro player is kind of done playing and competing and traveling around the world, they do what we do and sit down and talk about it and that sort of stuff as an almost a secondary thought. Like, okay, well, I know so much about this game that I can just sit down and talk. And like, I mean, I don't know if you experienced this, but you know, when you actually sit down and do commentary with a pro player, you are leading that conversation. Like, you are like, you're so broadcast focused there that you're like, oh my god, I can't believe he just did that. Did you see that? Yeah, I saw that. That was really interesting. There was like there's a really interesting thing about, so this cost 15 gold, but if we go back to the 14 gold that he spent, and I'm like, Jesus, wow, oh my god, I can't believe it. The difference between 15 and 14 gold is so important. What the fuck are you talking about, dude? Get hype, dude. Jesus.
Thing, right? I would say our line of work, the only people that really appreciate it, yes, there are people that listen, but it's really, you know, people that have experienced that. And I'd like to equate that to wrestling. You're only good as the person next to you, or the person that's on the mic as well. You have to make them look good, because that makes you look good. And Yeah, I can see how some people can think that, oh yeah, the end all be all for after a person like a pro players to go commentary. I'd like to say maybe streaming is a better option as well, because they don't necessarily have to be as entertaining, because you'd watch them for their godly plays or their insight.
Sure.
With commentary though, I've seen pro players try it and it didn't work out in their favor. So I'm pretty sure that notion is starting to get a little scrapped as pro players are starting to pop off and like be like, yeah, I've tried it. I'd rather stay into team management, coaching, or even go into streaming, content creation, brand partnerships. Because what we do, oh man, you gotta be a little. You gotta see life in a different way for to do what we do, Sal.
I mean,
and I'm saying that in a good way and a bad way.
Yeah, dude. Like, I remember it was during the World Finals for Tekken that my brother was in Amsterdam, but he was staying in a video game hotel. Shoutouts to the hotel he was staying in, man. So they organized, like, they dropped a huge projector. They played it. They laid seats out and stuff for, it was a lot for people that couldn't get tickets and stuff, just to watch this thing was happening in Amsterdam or whatever, and I was sitting and I'm like with my brother, not as a commentator, just as a spectator, and genuinely Ben, my little bro, was just like, hey dude, listen, shut the fuck up, dude, like we're you're not on a desk right now, because I was like, oh, did you just see that, dude? That was insane. Shut up. What? How did he get away with that, man? It's that thing of like, this is the way that we do it. It's a skill that's been fostered from the online or the 10 viewer or the 1 viewer stream. That somebody promotes this idea of get excited now, get excited, and you have to do that, and then you pay your rent from it. So then when somebody says, hey, stop getting excited, you're like, what?
Yeah, you got to have that distinction, right? When to turn on and turn off. Like, you can just like pop off a little bit. I've experienced that a lot when I'm watching games with friends, or be like, oh dude, Poch is freaking out again. Like you and me, Sam. It's like it comes second nature that I just freaked out because I appreciate that moment.
Sure.
I might not talk as much, but I'd be like, dude, even Steve, dude, like, dude, his grip is real. Like, he's not faking.
Dude, Steve really is that in real life. He's actually that. Like, and when I met Steve first was Evo. And I remember I was coming backstage. So there's like, from where we were doing the thing, we had a 15-minute break.
You have the James Chen photo?
I think it was binned by that, but I was like walking through, like, there's a whole like backstage tunnel to get back to the food area, right?
Yeah.
And I was just like walking along that, and I could see Steve up ahead of me, like, whatever, and I was like, holy fuck, that's fucking Steve, dude, shit, that's crazy, right? And whoever he was with had just made a joke, right? And Steve he goes, oh my god, and he like did like a lap of this shit, right? And I was just walking past. I'd never met Steve before, and he grabbed my arm and he was like, damn man, did you hear what he just said? And then like just kept going, and I was like, we're backstage, like there's no cameras, there's no nothing. He is actually like that, like it is insane how natural that is. Like, I had this idea that was just a caricature. Like, that's just Steve on broadcast. Like, that he's that big and that bubbly and what? Nope, that's him all of the time. That's him. Every day. Like, it's crazy.
It goes back to the thought of you turning yourself up to 11, right? You want to be as natural as possible. It translates to the screen, ladies and gentlemen, and also on the mic. But I hammer down this point that I say to people that are newly commentating. I feel like the mic reveals character, and it shows. And you can only hide so much. You can only mimic as much. But eventually, it's gonna happen. Like, you're gonna have a slip up where you're gonna be your real self. So I would say, I mean, I've heard like horror stories where people like, hey, don't say this, and they make a joke about it. I'm like, why'd you say that? Someone is, you know those guys, loose cannons on the mic.
Yep.
Yeah. So that you could, you've been in the industry long enough to know, like, oh, this person's, he's not broadcast friendly, or he's what he's gonna say, and that's like the worst. Like event organizers do not like that.
No, they do not, because we don't get, if we say something wrong, we might get told, hey, listen, next event, don't say anything like that. What they're getting is a Discord call being like, why the fuck did he just say that on my broadcast? Like, you know, like their burden is way higher than ours, like, you know.
Yeah, so for those of you out there, you can't be a loose cannon on the mic. Maybe on your stream, sure, but even Markman said, as an event, because we were asking him tips, right? And Rev Major, when it was online, we asked him, like, tips on starting commentary. It's like, as an event organizer, don't be controversial. Like, don't be the loose cannon on the mic. Like, nah, that's no, don't.
I think once you establish yourself and you know you're going to get gigs, then you know, be that loose cannon. If that was the what you were holding back, do that and kind of get known as that token guy that he's probably gonna say something mad, like, you know. But if you start with that, you won't get Joe's. Like, you know, you're right. You're not going to get him, dude. Like, you know, like unfortunately, your technical ability to commentate is not really taken into account at all. It's more of a popularity contest, like, you know.
Dude, agree 100%. It's, you have to get the foundation first, then you can start playing around, and all right. But if you start out with bad fundamentals and you, like, basically also in fighting games, you just Matterhorn start, you know, it's like, okay, that'll get you clipped, but it won't take you that far. You need to know your fundamentals, you know, like rapport building, you know, and storytelling, all that.
Yes, sir.
And then you can add like the virality moments, or you being a little bit of a loose cannon, or having like really good zingers.
Yeah.
If you start out with that, totally agree.
I completely agree. Listen, Poch, I'm gonna take a quick break because I'm about to piss my pants. I'll be back in 2 seconds, bro. We have this new idea about the podcast that I'm gonna record the intro for the podcast after the podcast, so I'm already drunk when I'm recording it. This is my
How does that go?
I mean, I don't know. I'll tell you after we end this podcast.
Usually, how does it go?
Usually, it's like done like the day after, or like 2 days after, or whatever, you know.
Okay. How many? Okay, so on a level scale 1 to 10, how buzzed or hit do you think you are right now? Like 10 being like, I'm pretty lit right now.
10 being like I'm getting sick in the bathroom. 1 being I've just had a glass of wine with my mom. I'm about a 6, I think. Like,
really?
I've been hitting this Jameson, man. Like, you know.
That's true. I mean, you've been sipping a lot, but I thought you diluted that a little bit. But
I did. And do you know what? This is a great drink. Jameson, lemon, and soda water, man. That's the vibe, man. I feel so summery and fresh right now. Like, you know.
I can feel the glow. It's a summer look. Dude.
That's
it's
man.
Definitely there.
You know, summer bodies are made in the winter. Summer drinks are made in my brain.
Dad bods.
That's what my girlfriend keeps saying, bro. That's what she keeps saying, okay?
Hey, she's private. But man, thank you. This is such. I just think this is such a refreshing format, and I do think that. How long have we been talking?
We've been talking for 2.5 hours, man.
I'm a little scared that we're having too much fun. You get to know people in conversation, and this is great.
That's it.
Instead of like those 5-minute interviews, like you don't really get much out of that.
This is exactly what I said to you before we went live. For any viewers who have stuck through to the end, shout outs. But we were talking about the humanization of people, like a lot of esports people as well, especially because it's such a new field. That you, it's this almost like those guys are untouchable. They're kind of above human, like, because they do this job that everybody told us was not a good idea. And there is a little bit of stubbornness in what we do, of like, yeah, I mean, I understand that nobody's done it before, but I'll probably do it, like, you know. But the humanization of like that humans are humans, as you keep saying, that like you're more than a tech commentator, you're more than just a video game commentator. You have a life. You are a multi-dimensional human that has likes and dislikes entirely outside of the video game sphere, like, you know. And that's kind of the idea.
I think it's gonna definitely make a comeback, because with how content is going now, it's so easily digestible. And let's say one person goes viral for this thing, it's like they always have to be doing this thing. That's why I love podcasts so much, because it explores so much ideas. And in a 3-hour conversation, I'm pretty sure the guests knew more about me and you. And it's a good way to really build an audience that can stick with you and that resonate with that mission statement of seeing people as more than just what's in front of their screen or what you see in a 2-hour broadcast. Like a famous movie line once said, ogres are like onions, they have layers.
No, but I mean, like, I loved going for beers with people, because I felt like that's where I could talk to people, like, you know, like actually ask questions, like, all right, tell me, what's the worst show? What's the show that you would recommend that nobody ever does, like, or whatever? And you got the weirdest answers, man, from people who are like industry veterans, man. Like, you know, like this idea started before like there was a webcam on my face, like, you know, like that. Like, I would go to shows and be like, dude, I'm going for a beer with that guy, dude. I'd say some insane stories, man. You know,
and that's good, because people have stories, man. And I think it's great that you have this gift for being able to elicit that from people. It's not often you feel you get people to listen and have a 3-hour conversation with someone. Hey, maybe the beer and Jameson helps, but
I don't think that I had very much to do with it. I feel like
being giving yourself that much credit, man.
I think being an active listener is probably a big part of like I see what I found about like the what are you doing? What's your job? And like these questions are almost like A and B, and then A follows B, and then A follows B, or whatever, and it's just kind of this. Whereas if you throw a C in there, like, so what do you do? Oh, I do accountancy. Shit, that sounds like a really difficult thing to make. What's your 9 to 5? That's where, like, the C part that kind of opens up what you've just said, that's a way more interesting thing than being like, I met an accountant the other day. It'd be like, dude, I met this guy who, like, had no money to go to college and had to, like, borrow money off, like, a shady loan shark guy just to get into college, and is, like, paying that back. That's a way more interesting story than he's an accountant, like, you know. The C part of the conversation, you know.
Doubling down on what you said, man. It's the humanization of it. Yeah, you meet accountants every day, but what about this accountant that works for like this nature preservation firm that's really he's changing lives, you know. So it's so good. Instead of just stopping at B, go through the rest of the alphabet. Like, get to know a person more, right? And I would say you have very good active listening. And I'll be honest, like it's a skill that's actually kind of hard to find in a lot of people. I have to say, you know, you don't know anyone that's like has interview experience. And again, not trying to like blow smoke up your butt, but I enjoyed these last 3 hours.
But that's the vibe. That's I feel like if I don't have a talking point, if I like there is nothing here. We haven't followed a. Okay, so now I'm going to ask you about this, now I'm going to ask you about this, or whatever. I mean, it just leads to natural conversation. And I think, as far as I'm aware from the response I'm getting, people respond to that. Like, as a it's not. We're not talking about Raid Shadow Legends, and we're not talking about Manscaped. Like, you know, like we're not saying.
We did talk about Manscaped.
I mean, we did talk about Manscaped, but at a human level.
Yeah, that one's for free. Yeah,
in the same way that you would talk to your buddies about Manscaped.
No agenda.
Like,
exactly. No agendas. Just like unfiltered and just like, yeah, you know, get real opinions out there. And that's what people sought out, or that people love. But I'll be honest with you, I think the algorithm doesn't like that because they can't identify you. And brands are also, so what's your show about? Like, yeah, you're out for a beer and all that, but where can we insert ourselves here when you talk about this, and this, right? And you know, that's the pro and con of this. But I'm telling you, I love this type of medium. I mess around with this type of medium, and it's great.
I think that it's hugely important, and especially, and this probably comes back to Swagmeister 420, man, like that, like, you know, that, like, if you see like snapshots, and especially when we're performing, like being on camera or whatever, like, you know, we'll just say shit to keep the broadcast rolling, like, or whatever. Whereas when it's fucking slowed down like this, and we're actually sitting, we're having a conversation, we have opinions, we express that we are actually humans, we do feel emotions other than hype. Excitement, break down that play, like, or whatever, like, you know, like, if I say, man, I was sad the other day, like, you know, this is now the medium that we can talk about that, like, you know,
exactly,
like,
exactly.
That everybody is multi-dimensional. It doesn't, I don't care if you think of Taylor Swift, man, she probably gets like upset sometimes, like, you know, like, it's very easy to say like, she just gets broken up with and writes a song about it, but man, she is like a whole life. She's like an entire human spectrum of emotions here, like, you know, it doesn't matter who, like Arnold Schwarzenegger probably like does exactly the same, dude, like, you know. So I don't know, humanization is kind of the theme of this, like.
For sure. And if you tell me I woke up this morning and you'd say like, hey, you know, you and Sam are going to humanize Taylor Swift tonight, what are you talking about? And that's the beauty of conversation. We don't know where this is going.
That's exactly
it went into that tangent, and I empathize with that. That's real. And people are just so focused on dehumanizing people to just moments or clips. Or like, oh, Sam's the hype guy, Poch is the whatever, the host guy. It's like, we're definitely more than that. And yeah, I just think that's why we have hopefully we'll have more of these type of mediums and these type of real conversations that, you know, you'll get to know us even more.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing, to understand that, like, we were just shitty ranked players not too long ago, dude. Like,
I'm still there, dude.
But in exactly the same vein, just because we have this weird skill of being able to talk shit for 4 hours in a row, that somebody has decided that that's what they want on their broadcast, and it just became a global sort of standard that no, we're also like the guys that still have to drink water when we drink, like, you know, like, exactly. I still, for the record, I still get hangovers, right? Because there was a tweet made out that I don't get hangovers, and it's not true. I get hangovers very badly.
Sam is human, ladies and gentlemen. You can't. He has a limit. There are limitations. Yes, drink that water, Sam.
It reminded me. It reminded me to drink water.
There we go. Yeah, if only, like, yeah, we could have a day in a life, right? Just to talk, like, look behind the scenes,
right?
Because one of the scariest things for me was commentating with JDCR, with Shuman, but dude, they're just regular guys. They're pretty fun to hang out with and talk to. It's just them. They just love the game. They have other interests. JDCR was talking to me about TFT and other like games that he plays. He has a dog, Sundal. Shout outs to JDCR and his cute little dog.
I can't. I'm gonna have to stop you there. JDCR has upset me. Right?
Oh, what? Oh no.
Okay.
I brought up some beef. What's happening? So,
Evo, right?
Okay.
Queue up at the 10-0 booth, right? That's where they had all that Mishima capsule.
Right.
The pre-release Mishima capsule, right? You know that black jacket? Joker always wears it, right? It's a black windbreaker, and it's got a tiger on the back and the Tekken kanji on the front. Insane. I said, I'm gonna buy one of those, right? But I'm saying, I'm a commentator for Tenno, right? Like, I could probably just DM someone and nope, turns out I can't. I'm an idiot, right? So I queued up, right? Dude behind me in the queue was a Tekken fan. Dude ahead of me in the queue is JDCR, right? So
where's this going?
as soon as I queued up, I noticed JD, right? And I've never met him, right? And I was like, hey, JDCR, big fan of your shit, man. Love your YouTube. Shout outs, man. Like, you know. And he was like, thank you. I don't know if his maybe he was just like ignoring me or something, but I was like, oh, maybe his English isn't great or whatever, right? So this guy behind me, he hears me say that. He goes, bro, is that JDCR? Bro,
Oh no!
can you believe, right? I swear to God, like reaches across me with the hand to shake his hand, right? I was like, okay, weird. And he goes, listen, man, if you're around later on, I'd love to play you in a couple of sets, right? And you can imagine, right? Like, and I don't know because I'm not a pro player, but JDCR probably gets that every event. Like 20 times, right? So he was like, yeah, we'll see. I'll probably be around in the casual area or whatever. We'll play some games. And he was like, no, man, you're never gonna beat my Negan. Man, you're literally never gonna beat my Negan. I will fuck you up with my fucking Negan. I've seen the way you play. And so I was just like, okay, bro, we're just queuing up here, like, or whatever. So I tried to break the awkwardness by just breaking line of sight with my body.
Yeah, like
right?
just being there. Okay, nice.
And so I like turned to the weird guy, and I was like, hey bro, what's going on, man? How are you doing? Are you here for Tekken? Are you playing in Tekken or whatever? Like, you know. And so fine, the queue moves up, right? JDCR, I noticed because I turned. He's buying the same fucking jacket, the black windbreaker with the fucking tiger on the back, right? And I was like, oh man, nice one, man. You know, good choice. Like, 'cause I didn't like the red one. And I walked up and I said, hey, how you getting on? I'm actually going to get the same as him right there, the black windbreaker. And even that was the last one. And I was like, what? Did he just make an enemy of me? Because I'm pissed, right? That was the shit that I wanted to come home from Vegas in, strutting it to all my friends, being like, yo, check the tiger on the back. That's what Heihachi have on his jumper. Like, you know, JDCR bought the last one, and Tenno will not send me one. I don't know why. So me and JD, we've shit to sort out, right?
Yeah, you got to show me your Negan, man. You got to fight for it.
I'm gonna get the guy that was behind me, man. He said he could fuck you up, man. I'm gonna let him go, dude.
I should have just let him. But hey, out of the JDCR's defense, he didn't invent like the stock numbers. But
sure.
JD, that's
sure.
Like, he has words to share with you.
No, I'm a huge fan of his YouTube, man. His translator is insane. Have you seen his YouTube? Man,
yeah, it's great, man. He gets them,
dude.
He tried streaming there too. I don't know if he's streaming there as well. But he for a portion he did, and on his Twitch he's very. I know he's a big fan of like the Dark Souls series because we talked about that also. And yeah, you're just again you're knowing more about a person even before like his life outside of the game that he loves playing and he's really good at, right? He's a complete person as well. So.
Yep.
And he's also made an enemy out of SamDDing. So. You owe a jacket, JD.
Give me that jacket, bro. You bought my jacket, man. No.
First attend me right now for the jacket.
God, he would cream me so bad. But I was so funny about I feel like we need to wrap up this podcast because we're getting like on, but I'm having such fun chatting to you, Poch, man. Like it's
man, thank you.
But I feel like for ICFC Asia, where that was the thing that like I said, like I might be commentating with JDCR, like, and like for an Irish person to be into a niche video game esport and have the person who you know, basically leads the Korean scene. Like, obviously, like, we have Nii and, like, I'm not discrediting
JDCR
anyone.
is one of the gods, right?
He is almost the face of Korean tech in America, almost like that. He would travel the most and that sort of stuff. To tell my friends that I'm on the same staff roster as JDCR is like a crazy thing. But the whole thing was that you and Weemaru were like the constant two, and then I remember there was a week, it was in the like last season of ICFC that I did 2 weeks. I took 1 week off and then did one more week, and the week I took off I was replaced by JDCR, and I was like, damn it, but I want to talk to him. Like, I want to have these conversations. Like,
oh man, I'm sure in the future it'll definitely happen. I mean, you've definitely made a name in ICFC Asia. It'll happen. I just think it was more of like a scheduling thing.
Sure.
And hey, yeah, JDCR, you know what? Sam wants to talk to you. You got words to share. He's got a jacket to share too.
Wait. Next week on the podcast, JDCR like comes up.
But you're right. Like, sometimes even some of my friends like, dude, you just commentate with JDCR, or like you're in the same roster as JDCR. That's insane. And it's like I kind of have to pinch myself. Like, so it's those pinch me moments. Like, oh my god, I'm actually sharing with JDCR, and he's sharing the insights in the game. He's enjoying the game also. He's saying like more electrics, more hop kicks. He's like enjoying the game as a casual person.
Yeah.
He's not like breaking it down like, oh, more jabs. No, electric. No,
yeah.
Let's go. Like, he just wants to enjoy good ass Tekken.
Yeah, that happened to me at the World Finals. That I know Koga, one of the stage managers, man, and he is like the boy, man. Me and him have shared many a bottle of whiskey together, like, you know, and I love this guy, man. He is such a dude, and genuinely, he's probably featured on like 4 or 5 of the top YouTube videos that are Tekken European offline esports. Like, he is the guy. If somebody says a blind pick, Koga's the guy they tell, right? Like he's like a big boy. But we were doing rehearsals for the finals, and you know, you're just walking around the stage, getting used to the space or whatever. Like, and I went to go like there was a box just down like beside me, and I went to go like, what the fuck is this? Like, get this shit out of here! Like, and Koga comes up, don't touch that! Don't touch that! Don't touch that! Don't touch that! I was like, whoa. All right, what is it? He goes, that's the box that shoots fire. And I was like, what? And he was like, yeah, that shoots like flame jets up, like up to like 15 feet. And I was like,
yeah,
are you fucking serious that I'm just a stupid white Irish guy, and somebody told me not to touch the box because it shoots fire up there? Like, you know, that's the real moment of like, this production is so much bigger than me. Like, you know, like, this is,
don't touch the box.
Don't touch the box, dude. That shoots fire, dude. Like, you know.
That's insane. I don't think I've ever felt that type of moment, and that's also it's a crazy moment to realize, like, wow, big production, and oh my god, I almost died because I almost got shot with flames, like, in my 15 feet in the
if air. That's moved, if the box is moved, there's a chance that it could set fire to like the backdrop or the curtains on top or whatever. That's placed in a
flammable,
but like, that thing is placed like in a place where all of the fire officers have to verify that exactly is where that's going to shoot fire. So if I move that an inch, they have to call back in the fire officer and stuff, and just be like, well, I mean, you wouldn't, but you just reset it back to where it was. But like, in theory, that the law states that's where it was. Like, and so I just moved it down because I like nearly kicked it, and I was like, what the hell is this, man? Move that shit. Like, you know, don't touch that. That shoots flames up into the sky. Like,
bad don't be hype about the game. Don't touch the box. That's crazy, man. But yeah, Koga, shout outs to him.
Dude,
you alive.
Koga's the dude, man. Koga's the dude, man. They're like, he'll text me and be like, where are you going tonight? Like, and I'll be like, there's a party on in whatever hotel or whatever. And be like, all right, I tell you what, I'm not going with you, but text me if it's class. If it's really good, text me, and I'll be down. Like, you know, like.
That's cool. That's a good mate to have. That's awesome.
I don't want to, because I might get him into trouble, but we were at an event.
Save for the Patreon content.
In the script. In the script. We're not mentioning the name of the event, but he was backstage the whole time, and like, you know, we were just hanging out, and like, so I've talked about it on previous podcasts, but I bring bottles of whiskey with me when I go, like, because they're so cheap in the airport. I just bring them, right? So like, usually if I'm finished all of my blocks or whatever, say I'm doing 16 to 8, top 16 to top 8, top 8 comes, like, I'm watching it on the monitor backstage or whatever, but I'm just like, fucking have a bottle of whiskey, everyone, let's have a drink, like, celebrate that we're almost done, like, whatever. But we got through this bottle of whiskey, me and Koga, and there was a couple of other people, I don't want to mention names, but Koga fucking, we polished that bottle, right? He goes, here man, just so you know you have a thing called Deliveroo in this country. Do you have Deliveroo? No, it's like Uber Eats basically.
Okay.
But you can also do shopping with it. So he was like, oh, we've Deliveroo in this country, and like, we've Deliveroo in Ireland. And I was like, okay. We also have that back home. And he was like, I can get us 3 bottles of whiskey here in 20 minutes.
ASAP.
And I was like, you can you, sir? So he brought like a bottle of Jameson, a bottle of Jack Daniels, and a bottle of something else. I can't even remember what it was. Just like ordered it like to our backstage area, opened out onto like a truck bay. Oh my God. This dude on a bike rolled up, just pulled out a bag with 3 litres of whiskey in it, and was like, Koga, and he was like, yo, what's up, dude? Like, we got absolutely hammered, dude. Like, it was incredible, man. Shout outs to Koga. Koga's my guy. I like him.
Hey, shout outs to him. I would love to meet him. He sounds like a great guy, and also he gets, I don't know, an organizer that, like, he's the guy that, you know, blind picked and all that. He seems to have his shit together.
Dude, he's a stage manager, but like when he's working, like, I might have given a skewed view of him, but like when he's working, like, genuinely, like, you know, because if I know the people, I like to get introduced to the production staff, that like, I'll just be like walking past them after I'm done on stage or whatever, and I'm like, yo bro, we got this, like, you know, whatever. Koga is working. He doesn't fist bump you. He's not like, hey bro, what's going on? He's like,
business.
I'll talk to you later, and then like goes on stage, and I'm like, so I respect that, like, you know, like, the man has a job to do, and the reason he's good at that job is because he does his job really fucking well, and he doesn't give a shit about like me as I'm coming off stage. Like, he'll message me being like, yo, you're meant to be on stage 10 minutes ago, where are you right now? Like, you know, like, he's the guy who'll be hitting up your Discord, like, you know,
like, where are you?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's the type of, you'd like a stage manager like that's accountable, like, that has his thing together, because if they're all buddy and it's business, that's not something that you want to be in an event for, because I've been in that situation where, like, I'm just lost. Where am I supposed to be? And it's like, I want to be, who am I supposed to talk to? Yep. Koga, the thing that stood out when you said, like, he's the guy, like, if someone has a blind pick, he knows what to do. That's like an organizer you want.
Yep.
So shout out to him.
But he is specifically a stage manager, and like, but he knows exactly that if you go up to him at any point, you're like, where am I supposed to be for this? And he's like, over there. It was on your email. Go over there now. And you're like, shit. All right, cool. Like, he's the dad of the actual live production. Like, you know, hey, can I get sweets on the way home? He's like, no, unless you do this. Like, you know.
Okay. But we do have sweets at home.
Yeah.
Oh, that's wild. I'd love to meet him. He sounds like a character.
He's an awesome, like, genuinely, like, if you come over, dude, come do some European shows. What? Why have we not talked about this yet? Like,
okay, so the thing is, I have a visa to the States. I got to work on, if I ever want to go to Europe, but I will definitely hit you up if that's the case.
Hells yeah, man.
Because Philippines to Europe, I mean, I know, you know, that's a pretty far travel, and I know you'd love to take the trek to Rep Major, but I'd love to do likewise for you and just try and visit if ever.
Yeah, definitely. The plan is for me to do a Rev Major this year. I was having chats with don't mention any names because I don't want anyone's DMs blown up like or whatever. But to be
hit if you want to know about commentary.
If you ever want to do commentary or Rev Major, hit me up. No,
no. But yeah, so I'm excited. I'm really excited.
But yeah, we must we definitely must meet up and IRL.
Yeah, and I'll definitely show you some Pinoy hospitality.
Oh, let's go, dude, man. Filipino love, man. I'm gonna get some elbows and knees. I feel like I'm taking that, man. You know that Muay Thai stuff.
That's Thailand, though.
Damn it.
Yeah.
Wait, do you not have some awesome Muay Thai fighters from the Philippines, though?
We have a boxer, Manny Pacquiao.
Manny Pacquiao, right?
Yeah, it's boxing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but is it?
Yeah, that's Thailand.
Shit.
Yeah, it's okay.
I'm just an idiot. I am not racially insensitive.
It's totally fine. We'll take it from the top. So again, Sam, I'll show you a good time. Show you some Pinoy hospitality.
Excellent. I'd love to go to see Manny Pacquiao because I believe he is from
the Philippines. Yes, excellent boxing. That's what he's known for. But I'll take you to the nice spots to eat and all that, so it's all good.
Awesome sauce. Well, look, Poch, man, thank you so much for coming in, man. It was such an interesting conversation, dude. I feel like our chemistry on commentary definitely kind of spilled over into just real life, actual like conversations and stuff. Like, do appreciate it, but we do have to keep this video beneath 3 hours if we can at all. So.
We'll cut out the pee breaks.
Yeah.
Thank you again for having me, man. It's super fun.
No problem at all. Listen, man, I will definitely see you soon. We'll try get some actual live shows under our belt together. See what's going on. You need to introduce me to some wedding people. I want to do that now. Like, you know.
Let's go. Fly the Philippines. I'll introduce you to a lot of wedding people.
Let's go, dude. Right. I will talk to you soon, my friend. All right.